Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
So when I talk about people respecting us nationally, it's part of that is us too.
Iamaleava claims the high snap, off a play fake, sits one left, leaping interception, Andrew Marshall.
Either you're with us or you're not, and that's everywhere.
Johnson vacates left, chest high snap, blitz comes, back shoulder fade, front right pylon, key, he's got it!
I think Coach Rule's message was spot on with, everybody else needs to elevate.
And that's how this game's going to come to an end. Just heartbreaking.
Glad we don't have a bye week right now. We need to go play. And our players are, they're pissed off, they're motivated, and they're ready to go play.
60 minutes, balls out. Let's open up the whole 10 of the kick out.
Ball stripped. It's picked up with area at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Scoop and score.
You blitz all night.
On the left half, snap back, hold is down. The kick is blocked. It's blocked.
We stay with them, and we shut them down because we can.
Viola out of the gun, single back left. Claims the snap, off play action, lobs a fade near left side of the end zone for Hunter. Twisting catch. Hunter's got it. Touchdown Huskers.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plans.
Handoff Johnson over right guard. Powers, fights, blinds, touchdown Huskers. 2:44 to go. Emmett Johnson would not be denied.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Rico, what's up, buddy?
Hello.
That was weird. You didn't need to do that. It's weird.
Yeah, I did.
It's a weird way to start the show.
Necessary.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe we'll do this one alone today. DB is he was the victim of a flight situation where
The FFA.
Yeah, the FAA.
FFA.
Nope, that's a different thing.
FAA.
I don't know what FFA is.
I don't either.
So they had to reduce some of the flights, especially coming out of major cities like Los Angeles. And so it messed with the flights for the team as well coming out. Coming out of here. So we're going to try and catch up with him in a little bit. If he
got the text that they had to change their flight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It was a moment of weakness.
So it's it's one of those situations where we were at the mercy of flight schedules and the FAA and apparently a government shutdown. I don't really know. That's just what happens.
Let's go, baby.
But
exactly.
yeah, so there we go. That's why Rico's here today. Yes, that's great. Tony, FFA is Future Farmers of America.
Yeah, the Future Farmers of America messed up DBs.
We will not disparage farmers here on this show. How dare you?
My father-in-law is a farmer. I would never.
Yeah, how dare you?
/rancher.
Farmer/rancher? Does he do both?
He has cows and he has corn and beans.
Cows and corn. That's the most Nebraskan thing I've ever heard in my life.
He's a man.
Shout
out to Lee.
Good for you. Good for you, Lee.
He's not listening.
Not you.
He is not. My brother-in-law might be.
That's rude.
I'm not shouting him out, though.
Why not?
Even though he took us to the game.
You got a little beef with the brother-in-law?
No, I actually have no beef.
You're just not shouting him out?
No, I'm just not shouting. I'm not giving him that satisfaction.
He's got beef, though, because he's on the cow farm, right?
He sells seed.
Oh. It's cow
I mean,
farm.
he helps with the farm, but he has his own business. He sells seeds.
It's a cow farm. It's going to be cows outside.
No free shout-outs, so I won't actually pull this out.
Oh, I thought you mentioned the brother. I was like, who cares?
Yeah, my brother. There you go. My wife made that logo.
No free shout-outs. Knock it off. What are you doing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nobody buys seed from that man.
No. Don't do that. I'm trying to help.
Why I can't repeat that. I can't repeat that, sir. I cannot.
You
do
can't.
It.
I might.
Yeah,
you can. It doesn't even say he's not even saying it right.
I know, but he still said it wrong. So that's what are we gonna do here? Can't do it. Can't do it.
I don't think anybody would buy that.
Coming up on the show today, we've got Brandon Kuhl. He is the head football coach at Carney. They face Westside tonight in the quarterfinals of the Class A playoffs. At 8, we've got our guy Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Of course, as we always do on Friday, we'll have Mike Sautter as well from Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps. We got the high school state volleyball tournament going on through the end of the weekend. So We'll talk to Sautter about that as well as high school.
I'm great.
State football
I don't think he is.
well. You don't think so? You think he's tired?
I think he's tired.
Might be a little tired?
I think he's tired, and the Jets have traded everybody away. But I talked to him about it the other day, and he's fine with it.
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the
So
spot.
I was with him when the Sauce Gardner
initially
trade happened.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I felt like I had a big part in talking him down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a lot of expletives immediately when he saw what happened.
Mm.
And I thought something terrible had happened to a family member, which I guess for him it sort of
It's
did.
pretty close.
When Sauce Gardner got traded, but they actually got good return for Sauce Gardner. They got 2 first-rounders for him.
He was talking to Sautter a while after it had happened. He seemed like he was okay with it because he's like, look, I really liked Sauce. I really liked whoever the defensive Quinnen Williams. He's like, but they were first-round picks, and the Jets haven't made the playoffs with them, so you might as well trade them away because you're paying them a crap ton of money. So you might as well trade them away and get some first-round picks for them and try to build that way because they're good. He's like not taking anything away from them. They're really good, but you're paying them a ton of money and you're not getting anything back.
Yeah.
So he seems like he was okay with it.
That was kind of what I was preaching to. I was like, hey, you haven't won with them.
Yeah.
Right? Haven't won with Sauce.
What's the worst that can happen? You don't win win
I was
without
gonna
him.
say, what's the worst that can happen?
You keep losing.
You go,
And it's like,
you start off
Bro.
1-8 next year.
Exactly.
Like, what's the worst thing that
Bro.
can happen here? So I think he was okay. It did take a little talking down.
Go away, Crecky.
I think by the time we got to Quinnen Williams, he was in good headspace.
Yes, he was good. He was
I feel
good.
like he was all right.
I have not touched my hair.
I think the shock of it kind of
that was shocking.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, you're just like out of nowhere. It's like, hey, by the way, your best cover corner and one of your best if not your best defensive tackle are now gone.
Yeah.
Bye.
I mean, he's top 10 defensive tackle in the league probably. Like, he's a good defensive tackle. So to address the elephant in the room, Rico's hair has not been touched.
Not been touched. Not even I haven't even shaved. If you can tell, it looks disgusting.
I can. Yeah. I don't know. Can you shave? Did we discuss this?
We have not, but I'm scared to.
I mean, our starting quarterback already broke his leg.
So the thing is, it's not just football though.
Oh, that's true. You messed up volleyball a bunch too.
Yeah.
Don't mess up volleyball.
I don't know.
Don't touch the beard.
Don't
touch the beard.
You
Don't
guys
touch the beard.
They're doing pretty well. It took them less than an hour last night to destroy Illinois.
Illinois would have needed like 8 sets to win that match.
They would have needed 8 sets to
get to the number of points you need to win a match.
Exactly.
Like to get to 75 points on that pace, they would have needed like 8 sets.
Crushed them.
They got 11, 15, 14?
I think so.
Or 11, 14, 15, one of the
something
two.
like that.
I mean, unreal.
The thing is, like, Danny Busby McKelly got the backups, like the freshmen in the first set. Like she put Campbell Flynn in the first set
it was
to
25
serve.
to 11.
And then the third set, I don't think she had any of the starters really in. Like she just subbed everybody out. So that was cool.
Headley says, I didn't even recognize him. Thought you were doing a Make-A-Wish thing, Ravi.
Okay. You want to be like that, Headley?
I'm sorry, Rico.
You want to be like that? That's how you feel? I can ban you. You know that, right?
Don't ban Headley. We love Headley.
I have the power. I made this stream.
You don't get to power trip.
I created this. I could take you out.
No, you didn't create. We had a YouTube before we hired.
No,
you.
not that. I mean, created today's stream. I've been creating the streams for the last 2 months.
The literal
The
stream.
literal stream.
That's true. Headley says Ravi would never.
Do you want to make a wish for a kid? Right, do anything nice for a child? You're right.
That's not true. At the live show, I held that kid that didn't cry.
I'm so proud of you. The bear man, you held a child. Everybody clap for Ravi. Ravi held a kid.
They
wow.
just came
Good
up.
job.
They're like, hey, here's his baby. And I was like, why?
What? Just why?
What do I do?
Just you didn't drop it. So that's a thing. That fine. Whatever.
Stink says, Ravi, Rico can actually read the chat. We don't need you to narrate the chat today.
Don't worry. I'll narrate the chat. Thanks, Stink.
So we had this podcast. Never mind.
Here we go. I created this stream in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
Well, I'm not Tony Stark. All right. Well, this has got off the rails. Do you think that God stays in heaven because he's afraid of what he made on earth, Rico? Probably.
Yes. Spy Kids 2. One of the hardest lines of all time. Came from Spy Kids 2. Think about that for a second.
Wait, is that where it originated?
Yes.
Good Lord.
The scientist in Spy Kids 2 with all the like weird creations, and he has like the small ones and he made them bigger. He's just like, he stays up in his like tower thing because he's scared of them. So he's like, do you think God too stays in heaven because he is afraid of what he has created on earth? And it's just like, what? Spy Kids?
Spy Kids, why you do that? You ain't gotta go that hard.
Just hitting the kids right in the feels.
You ain't gotta go that hard.
Oh my goodness.
Dank, so I don't know what you're asking here. What's preventing who from watching what? So what's preventing them from watching anyway? I don't know what that's in reference to. Please elaborate. I would love to answer your questions. I would love to.
I don't know.
Anyway. You know why I'm tired this morning?
Why?
Because I watched that stupid-ass NFL game.
I saw the score in like the first half, and I saw a highlight from like the beginning of the game when the ref put the ball down and it started rolling away because of how windy it was. And I was like, I'm not watching this.
It was terrible.
I was like, I'm not going to watch this. So I didn't.
It felt like an old school Big Ten West game, 10-7 final, like Iowa, Minnesota at its core. That's like 2015 Iowa, Minnesota. Like that's what it felt like. It wasn't great. I didn't enjoy it.
That's gross. I didn't watch a single second of it, so I can't talk about it.
It was terrible.
And I don't regret it. I just
No,
know
you made the right decision.
I just know that I have Brock Bowers in fantasy, and he got me 3 points.
Yeah,
because apparently the Raiders couldn't throw.
No.
Well, if the Raiders could have caught a few passes, I mean, because there were some that just bounced off their hands.
They did have to put Kenny Pickett in for a minute, which was not great.
Oh, I heard that Geno Smith got sacked like 20 million times.
Yeah, they're on pace to have that 85 Bears record.
That's fun.
By 16 games, easy.
Gross.
Scott, I'm sorry you're a big Broncos fan. That's tough, man. I mean, it's not a bad year, but it's tough to watch that. At least you got the win.
I mean, it'll be a bad year when you inevitably lose in the playoffs.
At least you got to win
if you make the playoffs.
I do kind of wonder, like, what.
Yeah, but everybody gets a win against the Raiders, so I don't know how much.
Unless
how
you're
much
the Chiefs one time a year, or one time every 3 years. Every once in a while, the Raiders will beat the Chiefs.
They have like 2 wins this year. It's fine.
Last night would have been the perfect time for the Raiders to get their 1 win. I mean, I get it; they have 2 wins already, but their 1 win that they shouldn't have gotten.
Well, don't you just want to keep losing? Then you can get Arch Manning.
They're not going to keep. I got him. Can you go home and cut your hair?
I'm so sorry, Shane.
No, he'll ruin Nebraska volleyball.
I can't do that. I
Stop
cannot.
it.
The state needs this. The state needs me to look like a homeless person.
I swear, if you touch that hair and something happens in Nebraska volleyball, you might be in actual danger.
Well, see, now we just keep talking about it. Is that worse?
No, it's fine. As long as you don't touch the hair, you're fine.
What if I get braids?
No, you can't.
I can't do anything with it?
You can't do anything to
All right.
it. You gotta look terrible.
My grandma's gonna hate me at Christmas time.
No, Christmas you should be okay. Christmas is after the national championship.
You're right.
Yeah, you're fine. You can do it. You can look pretty for Christmas pictures.
What if
or as pretty as you can.
What if okay, screw you. I'm fucking handsome. Sorry. That came out.
713 might be the earliest F-bomb we've ever had. This is why Rico doesn't work in radio anymore.
That's one of the reasons. No, it's okay. Yeah, I won't touch it unless like Nebraska and Creighton are doing really well in basketball. Then I guess I'll have to leave it.
No, it's fine. You've never had an impact on anything besides the Knicks in basketball before,
You're
right?
You're right.
So I think you're okay.
And it's early enough in the season. I can cut it. I'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
Something crazy happens.
You got.
I would hate everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to say out loud.
I'm not going to. I'm not putting that in the ether.
Yeah, we're not doing that to the universe. Scott's an F-bomb Friday.
I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone. I'm sorry to the children listening.
Headley says, Rico, how many people have handed you their spare change randomly when you're outside?
Not enough. I need more.
That's true. He's got too many kids.
Should I just carry a cup around? just walking around, like not even shaking it, just an empty cup and walk around. Somebody drops it. That's my coffee.
Just carry an empty coffee cup around. What was that?
I wouldn't be mad. If you see me outside, you can throw change at me. I'm good with it. I'll catch it. I'll catch a couple quarters.
Scott says he dropped his first F-bomb at 5:05 today, so he beat us. He beat us today.
Dang it, Scott. My goal is to beat Scott at the first F-bomb of the day.
Yeah, I mean, depending on you're gonna have to wake up earlier for that, I think. Scott gets up pretty early.
I mean, if Miles just decides not to sleep, I'm sure I could drop an F-bomb at like 2 a.m.
Probably, man. Shoot.
Go the F back to sleep. I'm sure I could do it. I'm sure I've done it.
Wow. Just
he doesn't know what I'm saying.
He might. You don't know.
No, he's not.
I'm fine.
He's fine.
I'm sorry, my dad's cursing me out. It's fine.
It's a book.
Yeah, I know.
Narrated by
Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah,
it's a good book.
It's not Morgan Freeman.
I didn't say Morgan Freeman.
You almost did. I saw it.
Almost said Morgan Freeman.
I can see it in your eyes. You're like, wait, which is the one with the good voice?
Which black man is it?
It's different when you say it.
I know. I can say these things. You can't.
Me too.
You could try.
I mean, I do. So
there's a football game tomorrow.
There is a football game tomorrow. Nebraska's got UCLA.
Yep, and everybody's flying out at 3 a.m.
Tomorrow, apparently. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out when DB's flight is because I'm trying to get him on the show here.
Maybe he's in the air right now. I know that Sipple and some of the other guys in that publication were going to leave from Lincoln, but they have to leave from Omaha. And like they were, when I was on the road at 6, they were, I think, already in Omaha.
I mean, that is a blessing for them.
Yeah.
I drove there shirtless.
To get.
I hope he did. I hope he did.
A little chilly for that Sip. The window.
Wow.
You see Sip windows open on the interstate.
Yeah. Just on his Harley.
Nothing would surprise me with Sip.
I love Sip.
Not a single thing. No, it's a blessing for them to get to come to Omaha. Like that's great for them. I'm happy for them.
You're ridiculous.
I
love Omaha. Though.
The airport's a bit of a mess right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been.
They're working on it.
Yeah,
it's under construction.
Got a couple years left.
Yeah, just a few.
Just a couple years.
Like we're gonna make this bigger, and it's like okay, well right now it's much smaller.
Well, it's true. That's true. It's not ideal. I think 2027.
Should have just shut down the whole airport and done it faster. No airport.
That would be tough.
No airport for 1 full year.
That's a tough look.
That's what you should shut the airport down for a year, and then you could get it all done because you don't have to worry about flights and people driving in and all that. You just shut it down.
Everybody could just leave out of the Millard Airport.
Millard, Lincoln, Grand Island.
I've been to Grand Island Airport. That is very small.
You could fly straight to Las Vegas for like $10.
You
might not make it.
Your plane might not make it. Those are like the outlet store planes.
Yeah.
It's like, we didn't make this one quite right. You guys can have it.
Just
good luck.
Here you go.
Good luck.
This is yours now.
I put my ex-wife on one of those flights. It didn't work how I hoped.
That's what's Damon say? 1, 10. That's you didn't need to.
My bad. That's the only time I've been in the Grand Island Airport.
My goodness gracious.
Was that too far?
I think so.
Is that a little aggressive?
I think so.
That's okay. We're fine. It's fine.
Okay.
So Nebraska plays
Yep.
UCLA this weekend.
Yes, they do. Nico Iamaleava.
Second time you got it.
Yeah, I know.
Iamaleava. Listen, we're going to practice. On 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Iamaleava.
I thought we were saying his first name. I thought we were saying his full name.
Come on, man.
I thought we were saying the full name.
You don't know how to say Nico?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Iamaleava.
Nailed it. The power of friendship. So UCLA is their rush defense is pretty bad, man.
It's very bad. It's like 128th in the country.
124th. You're close.
Yeah, see, I'm like DB getting numbers.
Giving up almost 200 yards a game. It's pretty rough.
That is very rough.
It's not great. For comparison, Nebraska's giving up 160, and we all think the sky's falling.
We think it's terrible.
Yeah.
We think Nebraska is god awful at run defense. And
listen,
they're
not great.
Decently better than UCLA.
A significant margin.
Yeah.
So I do think I don't know. There's a part of me, and we can ask Tim Verghese about this as well at 8:00. But there's a part of me that's just like, I don't know. If you get 60 plays in this game, which is about what they got against USC.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to run the ball like 42 times?
Yes.
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
I would say against – and this is something that John Butler said before they played, was it Northwestern, I think, where he was like, look, if I'm then, like, why wouldn't you run it on us? Like, if you're Nebraska, why wouldn't you run it on UCLA?
Yeah.
They have a worse rush defense than you. You have one of, if not the best running back in the Big Ten, one of the better running backs in the entire country with 1,000 yards with Emmett Johnson. Like, give the ball to him. Let him cook. Let him work. And then, by the way, although you are missing your starting quarterback, and we all hope that he gets well really soon. Dylan Raiola had successful surgery on his leg. We saw the picture that he posted on Instagram. But now you have TJ Latif in the game. He's got some pretty active legs as well. If you can utilize his legs while also utilizing Emmett's legs, kind of a two-headed monster in the backfield against a defense that is struggling to keep people's legs in check, I don't see why you shouldn't run it a lot more than you pass it. But also, I mean, take advantage of the play action with how much you probably should be running it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see a ton of RPOs. Like, I think we're going to see a ton of RPOs.
Give him the options to do either one, because it's not like he probably doesn't have the entire playbook open to him, but he's got a decent amount of the playbook open considering he checked to the screen. Like, he's changing plays at the line of scrimmage.
I would think he has the entire playbook at his disposal. I'm sure there are things he's more comfortable with than others.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I don't want it to seem like, because from all accounts, from everything I've heard, both publicly and just from people that have been around talking to me, incredibly bright kid. Like, has a really good grasp on the playbook. He's been here since the spring. I would not imagine there's anything they couldn't call that he's not ready for.
I mean, he was with the team at the bowl game.
Yeah, I'm sure there are things that he's better at or more comfortable with than others. So I think they'll probably try and stay in that wheelhouse. I also think so I said this after, like, Houston Christian or Houston Christian was the second one, right?
Yes.
So I said this to DB, and I didn't even really want to say it out loud.
But you did.
But I did, because that's who I am as a person.
Yep.
But I said, hey, if TJ and Dana are both still here in 2 years, they're going to run some absolutely crazy work on those RPOs.
It's going to be disgusting.
Because you have that extra element of not only can he give to the back, but then when he's on that edge, I think it's going to look a lot like those ones we saw. I think we've only seen Dylan run 2 of them, where he kind of extends it out and sort of rolls out with the RPO.
The really, really slow mesh.
Yeah, well, not really, because the mesh is over relatively early, but then Dylan it's sort of a half run fake from the quarterback spot, and then it gives the wide receivers a chance to get vertical. I really think that could be crazy good for Nebraska with TJ Latif, because you have to stop him. It's not like Dylan. If you don't stop Dylan, he's gonna get like 6 to 8 yards tops,
and then he's gonna dive forward.
Yeah, and he's gonna dive forward after he gets the first down, and like that's it. If you don't stop TJ Latif, like, he's just gonna keep running.
Like, so Dylan wasn't trying to make you miss. TJ's going to try to make you miss.
Yeah.
Like, the coaches are going to tell him, like, you need to slide, you need to get down. But at the same time, he's a competitor. He's and especially in this game, he's going back home. He's going to have a whole bunch of family members there who maybe wouldn't be able to get out to Lincoln to watch him play anyways. So he's going to want to put on a show. The first things first is he's going to need to tuck the ball. That was extremely concerning in that game when he came in against USC and just kind of kept getting poked out. They didn't recover.
I mean, it only really got poked out once.
It got poked out twice.
It got poked out once, then he bobbled a snap.
No, he fumbled. He the first run he had, it got poked out.
The one where he's going on the sideline?
No, that was the second one. That was the second time it got poked out. It didn't get USC didn't recover it at all.
I don't remember the first one.
I believe it got poked out twice, and then he had the fumbled snap.
I think it just had once. I think it was just once.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I can look it up.
He does need to work on the ball security, whether it's securing the snaps, whether it's running out of bounds. I'm sure that's something they worked on this week. But I do think a lot of that is circumstantial, right? Like, in a game, you're not expecting to have to go into, you have a sudden, it's not even, sometimes you have a backup come in because, hey, this guy's struggling. So you kind of get a couple series to be like, hey, you might have to, like, we may have to go to you at some point. This was an instant where, hey, like, quarterback is out. You got to go, TJ.
You're in for the rest of the game.
And then there was a quick change back after Nebraska gave the ball up. And there was a really strange set of circumstances there that, listen, I'm not giving a pass. He's got to be better on ball security. But I understand how maybe his nerves weren't in a place where you'd love him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this week, I don't think that'll be the case. I really don't.
No.
Like, I think
now you're getting full run with the ones.
Yes. That's a huge, and I wanted to talk to DB about this, but like,
sorry.
How dare you? No. No, he would just have a better perspective on it, right? Is how much different it is to have that full week of preparation, right? Because I used to talk, man, this is a weird throwback. You remember Cody Green?
Yes, I loved Cody Green.
I did too. And
was it Baylor that he went off?
I think so. But they would always put Cody Green in like the worst possible positions.
Yes.
Like I remember specifically, I think it was Oklahoma, where they put him in like inside the 5-yard line because I think it was Taylor was struggling. And they're like, here you go, Cody. Go pick us out a good one, champ. And it's like, you put me on the 3-yard line, Bo. What would you like to happen here?
Go do something good.
And like I always felt like, hey, and maybe I'm I have no idea if this is accurate with Cody Green or not. But I will say if there was he never had an opportunity really. I think he had 1 week where he was the full-time, like he was the starter, knowing he was going to be the starter the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
And my argument was like, hey, that's a huge difference. And B, if he had ever had like an off season or a spring or whatever to be like, hey, I'm the starter, that's a whole other thing, right? So I think that kind of comes into play here with TJ, where you've got the preparation, you've got time with the ones. We talk about chemistry in like basketball a lot and things like that. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely chemistry with football too. I don't remember who we were talking to earlier in the week, but they brought up Cortez Mills because he's probably thrown to Cortez more than he's thrown to Isaiah or Dane Key or Ja'Cory Barney, right? Because he was working with the twos a little bit more. So I do think that's a big factor. I think the chemistry is a factor there, as well as, I think Dank brought up in the chat here, like game speed is a real thing until you see it. And game speed from Houston Christian is going to be different than game speed that UCLA. USC or UCLA, right?
The California schools.
Yeah, because you've just got this, whole other level. I mean, like you played football in high school, you can practice as hard as you want, right? That first time you get in the game, like 3 plays in, you're winded. And you're like, what happened? I've been working all off season. It was the same thing when I was playing basketball, right? Yeah. You're working all off season. You get into a game and you're like, why am I so tired already? Like, why am I out of breath?
It's just completely different. That first, you're going full speed in practice, but for whatever reason in a game, you go full speed for a couple plays, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, there's something different about this, and you have to kind of get into that mode and get into that zone.
And it takes a minute.
It takes a little bit, but you'll get there. Like you're a high level athlete. Like you'll get there. And somebody in the chat mentioned that's probably his first like actual contact like somebody actually trying to like hit him in a while, like outside of practice tackling. And I understand that they're like, we're hitting hard, we're tackling, we got the full pads on. It's different because you're not, because as a defensive lineman and like linebacker, whatever, first off, you can't hit the quarterbacks in practice.
Yeah.
Like you're not allowed to hit the quarterbacks in practice, but you're also not trying to take off your teammates' heads.
Yeah.
So when you get into a game and somebody's actually trying to take your head off,
even when you're going even if you're going scrimmage and they're like, hey, quarterbacks are live, which I don't think Nebraska's done at any point, but even if you do that, like that is a total, like it's just adrenaline.
Like it's the first time he's been hit since Houston Christian.
It's human nature, just like the adrenaline of it, the whole thing, like everything starts to speed up a little bit. So that's a huge factor as well. Dave says on Monday we're going to be talking about how surprised we are at TA's arm. I won't be. I've been trying to tell people all week, like that guy can spin it.
Kid's got a live arm. So he's got a great arm, and that's going to be really like hopefully they utilize that on the deep ball. And Dana said something about they can't really throw the deep ball because they don't have enough time for the quarterbacks. TJ's going to be able to create time with his legs. But that's kind of the problem, quote unquote, air quotes, with some of the like shorter routes for TJ. is he'll overthrow them or he'll throw it a little bit too hard because he's got a strong arm, and he's just, I'm going to get it in there. And you saw that against Houston Christian and Akron a few times where he's overthrowing guys because I don't know if it's like trust or anything, but he's just throwing it a little bit too hard, and he's overthrowing these guys on some of those shorter routes. But kind of with that, the trust factor and knowing the wide receivers and the wide receivers knowing the quarterback, that's one of those on the shorter routes where I know where he's going to be. He knows where I'm going to put this ball before he gets out of his break. And that's going to be something that I'm really interested in. And with this week of practice, throwing to Dane, Isaiah, Ja'Cory, because like you mentioned and somebody else mentioned, he's probably thrown to Cortez and the twos a ton.
Yeah.
So he knows, when he gets out of his break, this is where his head's going to be. This is where he wants the ball to be. This is where I'm going to put it.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about his arm at all. I think he's going to. I don't think they're going to try and throw the ball a ton, just because as we mentioned, with UCLA's pass defense and with the, obviously Emmett Johnson's playing incredibly well with the added dynamic nature of TJ's legs and everything like that. And like DB said earlier in the week, I do think we're going to see some 2-back here because if you put 2-back plus TJ, it really, really messes with the defense's count.
Who's the second back?
I think Mosey. I've been a Mosey guy the whole year. I'm not going to be mad if it's Mekhi Nelson.
I'd say, do you want more speed and agility, or do you want more, I'm going to lower my shoulder through your face mask?
I want them to be equally concerned that either guy gets the ball. Either guy could get the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why I don't necessarily love it when they do some of the Heinrich Harburg packages. Like, you're not handing the ball off to Heinrich. I don't think they've done that all year. Maybe – I know they've done some sneaks. I don't remember if they've actually handed him the ball at all. Maybe once or twice.
No, it's just him getting he's done a couple where not a sneak, but like he gets it and he like fakes the handoff and runs it. But.
So like I don't love that because I feel like you're in a kind of a weird like niche package of plays with Heinrich. Whereas the defense, I want them to not know who's getting the ball. Like I think if you've got TJ, Emmett, and then either Mekhi or Mosey,
anybody can get it.
At that point, you have not tipped your hand at all about who's getting the football.
You haven't even tipped your hand if it's going to be a run play because both those guys can pass or can catch it really well.
Absolutely. I mean, like Mosey was a wide receiver until the fall. Like that's I
don't want to see him back at wide receiver. I kind of want to see him back. I was watching him like just juke people out and put people in the dirt. I kind of want to see him like in the slot. I want to see him catch a screen.
I mean, listen, you can motion both those guys out of the 2-back set. That's part of the reason, I think somebody earlier in the week mentioned Carter Nelson again. And first of all, I don't know who you're taking off the field to get Carter Nelson on. Mm-hmm. And this is not anything against Carter Nelson. But the other thing is, Carter Nelson's in the game. You've tipped your hand about what you want to do. When Luke Lindemeyer's in the game, you have no idea.
When Heinrich's in the game, you still don't. He's a pretty good blocker, too.
Not as much.
He's pretty good. He's a solid blocker.
He's somewhere between Carter and Luke in terms of what you think is going to happen.
And I mean, he was a quarterback last year.
So, but like that is, I like it when you're not telling the defense anything.
Mm-hmm. Not giving away what could happen.
Not giving away what could happen. Carter gives away what could happen a little bit. I don't think either of the second or third backs really give away anything. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't look at either Mosey or Nelson and be like, oh yeah, they're definitely
going to run this.
So I don't think it matters there.
You know what's crazy is what they do a lot is one back, motion the back out, and then it was just Dylan in the back. Now that you have TJ, still doesn't really give it away because he could run it. Yeah. So it's not like, oh, this is going to be a pass play.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that aspect of it too.
Yeah, I think that's accurate as well. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how I'll be really, really interested to see how the run pass, how the run versus pass ratio ends up being. Mm-hmm. Because I think that'll tell us a lot. I think they are going to run a ton of RPOs, so that could really skew one way or the other just depending on what TJ decides to do, right? You could call a run play out of the RPO, but he's like, hey, I'm going to keep it or I'm going to get the ball out to Isaiah or whoever. So that I think is going to be really interesting. That's one of the things I think I'll be I think you need to be well over 50% run.
Yeah.
That would be my goal for tomorrow. Whatever that looks like at 60-40, whatever. And that has more to do with UCLA than it does with TJ, to be honest. I mean, more with TJ's legs than it does his arm. Not worried about his arm at all. But between taking advantage of his legs and taking advantage of UCLA's defense, I think it needs to be well over 50%.
You need to do what you've said the teams do against you and take advantage of the fact that they can't stop the run.
Absolutely.
Don't give them the opportunity to stop you on offense because you want to pass the ball and you're just like, oh, well, we need to mix things. No, if the run is working, just keep handing it off. If you're getting 4 or 5 yards a pop, just keep giving the ball to EJ. Sub him out for a couple of plays. Obviously, you don't want him to get too tired. Bring in Mosey or Nelson, and they've proven that they can run the ball pretty damn well as also. So keep the ball on the ground. Utilize TJ's legs. Obviously, you don't want to. The thing is, you're not gonna want to do it too much because you don't want to end up going to your third string quarterback. So you're gonna see it probably. I want to say there's probably gonna be less designed runs for TJ, and a lot of the runs that he gets are probably going to be out of wide receivers not getting open or a broken play or something, and he has to end up taking off.
I mean, we kind of saw that against USC, right?
Yeah.
He'd make like 1 or 2 reads, see a gap, and go.
Exactly.
I do think we will see a decent amount of that. So that could very easily skew the kind of the ratio as well. I like to go by dropbacks versus actual pass attempts because that gives me an idea of, okay, this is how much they wanted to pass the ball versus run the ball instead of this is what ended up happening because of sacks or scrambles or whatever the case.
Yeah.
So that's usually what I look at, but I still think even just called runs versus called passes is going to be pretty dramatically in favor of the run. A, to keep Emmett cooking. B, because of TJ's legs. And maybe most importantly, UCLA's run defense is very bad.
I am excited to see this version of the offense because obviously Dylan is an elite quarterback, and I can't wait to have him back next season and see what he's able to do with another year under Dana Holgorsen and Matt Rule and with all the weapons that he's going to have. But this version for the next 4 games of Nebraska's offense, I'm extremely excited because of what Matt Rule has done in the past with dual threat quarterbacks and what Dana Holgorsen has done in the past with dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think it's interesting there because and then we'll take a break here in just a second, but I do think it's interesting because I think there's a part of Dana that's wanted to kind of tailor his offense to Dylan's skill set in terms of it being more pro style. And I think we might see more of a traditional, quote unquote, Dana Holgorsen offense with TJ, whose I think skill set probably, like you said, fits some of his previous teams and previous schemes a little bit better. I know he's had guys that weren't mobile quarterbacks in the past, and
they've still been amazing.
Yeah, they've still been really good. I think that there is a part of Dana that was trying to play extremely to Dylan's skill sets rather than implement some of the things he normally does. And I think we might see that. I mean, we saw it like on the first drive last week against USC where the ball was getting out quicker. We saw it honestly against or against Cincinnati. I thought that was a much more like Dana Holgorsen game plan. But there's been times over the course of the year where it seems like they didn't really embrace that part of the offense as much. I think with TJ Latif in there, then we'll see quite a bit more of that. And I think that I think that is there is something a little bit exciting about that as well. The next guest, we've got Tim Verghese coming up at 8:00. We've got, of course, as I mentioned earlier, our regular Mike Sautter at 9. But before that, in just a few minutes, we're going to talk to Brandon Kuhl, the head football coach at Kearney High School. They've got Westside tonight, and they will attempt to get to the state semifinals with a victory. Coach Kuhl coming up next. That's Rico. I'm Ravi. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, I think that the biggest things we took away from that first ball game, first of all, how incredibly fun playing with all those screaming middle school kids. They were very passionate and they gave us a lot of fuel for our fire out there. But our biggest takeaways were when we play with good pace on offense that we were pretty hard to guard, and I thought that we had some really good possessions in transition where we shared the basketball and moved it well and played with pace. I thought Britt Prince was very aggressive to start that ball game, scored 8 of our first 12, was kind of hunting her shot. Our team is best when we see that out of Britt. And then we just had lots of contributions. Just defensively, I thought Haley really set the tone for us with backcourt pressure, and lots of other players benefited with steals because of the havoc that she was causing on the ball.
I mean, I've got to watch the film. I mean, we got beat off the dribble. They essentially went to 4 guards there for a while, and you know, we had some matchups that weren't great for us. But just the understanding of when I'm guarding a guy that's a great shooter and when I'm guarding a guy that's not a great shooter, and I need to be in help and I need to protect the paint a little bit more when I'm guarding a guy that's a 25% 3-point shooter, and we were having a hard time with that registering. So those are things that we have to get better at, and I've said it before. It puts a lot of pressure on the 4 or 5 guys that played last year, because they can't be part of the problem. And having said that, it's Fedor's second year, not even, because he didn't start till the middle of the year. It's Ty's second year, and it's Jackson's second year. So 3 of the 5 outside of Jason and Isaac are guys that have only in their second year.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Rico. I'm Ravi. We're here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We're going to talk to Coach Cool here in just a moment to preview the Carney and Westside matchup in the state quarterfinals. Before we do that, though, I got to remind you that tomorrow is the Edwards Auto Village Point grand opening and ultimate duck tailgate. Make sure you go out to Village Point tomorrow and check out their grand opening. They got free food. They're going to have big screens with all the football games on. They're going to have giveaways. You can win Supernovas tickets. It's going to be a great time. And there's going to be a huge fireworks display by J&M Displays at the end of it. It's from 2 to 5:30 out at Edwards Auto Village Point. It is a great location. I was just out there getting some service done on my vehicle. Great people, love hanging out there. Incredibly courteous as well. Make sure you go to filltheflock.com, and everything tomorrow goes to support pediatric cancer, both with Children's Nebraska and the Team Jack Foundation. You know how much we love Team Jack and try and support them whenever we can. This is another opportunity to do that. So make sure you give Edwards Auto a little visit tomorrow, or go to filltheflock.com for all the details on the event. I think we are working on getting Coach Cool here.
We are efforting. Should I ask Coach Cool if Bearcats smell like popcorn?
Are they supposed to?
Yes.
You know, I know they're nicknamed the Bearcats. He may not have actual familiarity with Bearcats.
Why not?
I don't think this is a Colorado situation where they have a
live Bearcat in their office.
We can ask him. We've got Brandon Cool here, head football coach at Kearney. Coach Cool, how are we doing this morning?
Good morning, guys. Nothing better than playing playoff football on a gorgeous Friday.
I would say you got some good weather for it coming up, too.
Good night. Mother Nature's been good to us all season long. And so at the end of the day here, it's going to be big crowds in all these playoff venues. And what an exciting time of year to play football in November.
So, Coach, as you get ready for Westside here, obviously a good opponent. You're not a lot of bad ones left at this point in the season, so that's the blessing and curse, I guess, about making it this far. As you're preparing for Westside and preparing your guys, like, how do you get them in the mentality of coming here, getting to Omaha, and getting ready for this game?
Well, number one, we've had an outstanding group to work with all year long. They put a lot of time and effort into it. And so to get into the November and playing November football, these guys deserve this opportunity. And then you got to face a big giant who's been in the state finals multiple times in the last bunch of years. Really a well-coached program. Coach Lamaji and his crew do a great job of preparing their kids year in and year out. And they've been in this position for many years. And so for us, we have to have a little bit of the underdog mentality. We love getting on the bus and traveling to the eastern part of the state, so that's not a big issue for us to go against one of the best programs in Class A. And so we're looking forward to this opportunity. Our kids are excited, and just pin your ears back and just play Bearcat football.
Coach, you got off to a little bit of a rocky start this year because 3-3. You got kind of on the right track, unfortunately, against my Millard North Mustangs, but you've been playing much better football since then. You've won 4 in a row. Have you noticed, was there a change in your team and your mentality? Was there, kind of that proverbial come to Jesus moment, or was it just, hey, continuing to work on the things you work on and it starts to just click and find its form late in the season?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. As you analyze us at the beginning of the season, we only had 3 letter winners back from last year's team. We were so senior dominant a year ago. And so you're going to take on some growing pains. And for us to kind of move and shake some guys around, and then we got banged up a little bit there in the middle of the season and had to move some guys from corner to safety. And it just takes a while to kind of develop those guys into a different position. But this crew was just going to get better and better as the year went on. And then we got some confidence. We beat Millard North at home, which gave us some confidence as we continued on our district play. Had to go against a tough Columbus team at Columbus and got that victory to get the district championship. And then everything's kind of set up perfectly for us for the last couple of weeks. So, we're ready for this opportunity, and our kids are too. And so we're again, like I said earlier, we're looking forward to tonight's game against Westside.
Coach, where do you think you've grown the most from game 1 to now game 11 tonight? What have you seen change the most with your team? Like you said, that was coming in pretty inexperienced.
Well, if you're going to play in the Class A level, you're going to have to be more physical than you were at the beginning of the year. And I think our physicality has improved offensively and defensively. The last couple of weeks we've been able to grind out the run game just a little bit, get first down, sustain some drives where we can keep our opponent's offense off the field. Defensively, we've done a good job of at least competing in the trenches, because sometimes we're undersized a little bit. We've done a good job of stopping the run, and if you can just keep the game simple, blocking and tackling, you're going to have to play outstanding special teams. I think Westside has one of the best special team crews in the state. Anytime they needed a big play, they got it out of their special teams against some of these high potent programs. And so for us, we just want to be able to kind of keep our ducks in a row here and just compete like crazy when the Friday night lights get turned on.
Well, I'm glad DB wasn't here to listen to that last part, because he does help run special teams, so we don't need his head to get any bigger. Coach, as you look at your matchup with Westside, and obviously they've got some super talented players. Tate Jenkins led the state in rushing last year. You've got Braylon Warren at quarterback. You've got some really talented guys across the field from you. Not asking you to give away a game plan or anything here, but how do you kind of balance trying to do what you do well versus trying to stop what they do well?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's a tough task to definitely do on the practice field. We try to get our scout team guys to try to at least simulate what they want to do offensively, defensively, and special team wise. But at the end of the day here, you're going to have to stay with your philosophy on. You're going to have to find a way to stop the run. You're going to have to find a way to also get pressure on their quarterback, who's a terrific player and does a great job of commanding their offense. And the problem is they got some skilled guys on the perimeter that can catch the ball and get it to the end zone in a hurry. So you're going to have to control the line of scrimmage. You're going to have to be fantastic on first and second down to make them sweat a little bit on third and long. And then looking at their defensive side of the ball, same thing. You're going to have to sustain some drives by getting first downs. You're going to have to do some things offensively that you're probably not accustomed to in the playoffs. And so we're going to have to dial up some things to give our kids an advantage so we can move the ball at a consistent rate.
Coach Cool, you talked about how you and your team, you love coming to the eastern part of the state and being the second most Western Class A school. What is it like traveling out here to the eastern part of the state, and how do you keep your team from getting distracted on the bus trip and just going in and playing Bearcat football like you mentioned?
Yeah, and that's a non-factor. Our kids are used to getting in their own vehicles with their own families and traveling to 3-4 hours to get to certain places, maybe Kansas City or Denver to be 5 hours away. And so they've done this their entire career, starting at the freshman level, clear up to the varsity level. So it's not a big deal. We talk about getting on the bus. It's a pretty quiet ride there. Those guys are probably relaxing and maybe taking a little bit of a nap. And then when they get off the bus, we have to have things cranked up, ready to go at 7 p.m. So, no, it's a great time to team bond, and we feel like that's an advantage, or we think it's a disadvantage for our opponents to come out to Kearney, but we think it's an advantage for us to get on the bus and travel to the eastern part of the state.
Yeah, I mean, I can vouch for that, Coach. Every time one of teams here in the Metro has to go out to Kearney or Grand Island or
it's not that far.
North Platte, it's a whole thing. I'll be honest. When we had to go to Lincoln, it was like, whoa, you're ridiculous. What are we doing here? So yeah, I do appreciate.
Yeah, you talk to Larry Martin a little bit. Sometimes with his program at Omaha North, sometimes, when they came out to Kearney, the kids thought they were going to do a stay overnight trip somewhere to come out to Kearney, and so we kind of giggle about that between Larry and I. It's kind of a fun opportunity, and sometimes those kids. It's good to get those guys out here to Central Nebraska.
It is, yeah. We got us Omaha Metro kids have to broaden our horizons a little bit.
Sure, 100%.
It's a beautiful city.
Not like Rico. Rico went to college in Kearney, so he's got a soft spot in his heart for that place.
Great spot to live, great spot to raise a family. There's no doubt about it. And teach and coach Kearney high school kids.
Oh, it's beautiful out there. The football field you guys have out there, we're running track out there when it was first built. It was beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. We love it out here. Great support, great kids, great community support, and at the end of the day here, it's just a fantastic place to live, and like I said, raise a family.
Coach, so I don't mean to throw you a curveball here, but yesterday we heard Coach Rule talk about kind of checking on people and checking on players, and I know especially at the high school level, the love and care for your players is why you do this, right? Like there's no $1 million contracts or anything like that. How do you make sure kind of over the course of a season that when you see a guy that maybe seems a little bit off, that you make sure you take the opportunity, whether it's you or one of your staff, to make sure you're checking in on guys and making sure they're doing all right?
Yeah, that's a difficult task. Mental health is real. You see it in the classroom, you see it in the hallways, you see it maybe on our practice field or on our bus. And so it's real. It's real, and it's really faced straight in the eyes here the last couple of years as it gets more and more common in dealing with high school kids. And so you have to develop those relationships. It's being around those kids. All my coaches are multi-sport coaches. They deal with other kids. They deal with other programs. So our connection with our kids has been terrific. And we're not perfect, don't get me wrong. But when we see it, we're not afraid to address it one-on-one. Just have a conversation with a kid, making sure that players are taking care of players. We want that to happen all the time. So at the end of the day here, we're doing whatever we can to observe it, and hopefully we can get it caught before something tragic happens.
Well, Coach, I thank you and all the other coaches for what you do for the youth as people are growing up. I know you have high school coaches have an outsized role in kind of the development of some of these kids. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for joining us this morning, and best of luck tonight.
You guys, appreciate your coverage.
That is Coach Brandon Cool from Kearney High School. They've got Westside tonight.
Brandon Cool has been at Kearney forever.
Yeah.
And making sure I was getting the stats correct, looking it up. He, up until 2020, he had missed the playoffs twice, and he had been there since 2001.
Yeah, he's
and they won the state title in 2006.
I would say he's the last non-Lincoln Omaha school to win a state title in Class A, or the most recent, not the last. It could happen again, obviously, but the most recent. Yes, the latest, most recent Western/Central Nebraska team to win Class A state title. So, and we love talking to Coach Cool. He's always super generous with his time with us, and appreciate him letting me stretch the questions a little bit there, because and we'll get to this later. Coach Rule addressed kind of the situation with Marshawn Nealon, the Cowboys player who apparently committed suicide. I say apparent because I don't think the coroner report is out yet, but it appears to be a suicide. And Coach Rule addressed that at length in his press conference yesterday. So we'll tackle that here in a little bit, but. First, we've got our guy, Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. He'll be joining us in just a couple minutes. We can talk some recruiting. We haven't talked to Tim since the big recruiting weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Since
there's been
Tay Ellis commitment.
One commit and one pretty much commit. He just hasn't said anything.
Amir Brown, kind of.
You might as well.
It feels like he's like, I'm going to call that a soft verbal.
Ahmad Hudson. Why am I saying that's weird? Ahmad Hudson is just like, should I be get 3 for 3? Ahmad.
I think you should.
I think you should.
If Rico can figure out how to say your name properly. Ahmad.
I apologize.
Ahmad Hudson. It's not that hard.
Ahmad Hudson.
It's also not that hard to go visit our friends over at Dingman's Collision Center. If you have anything you need auto repair done to your car, Dingman's is a place to go. 4 great, convenient Omaha area locations, and they've got the cutting edge technology and ongoing training. So every repair is done to the safety and quality standards that you are accustomed to and that you deserve. It's been voted first place best of Omaha for 20 straight years for auto body repair for a reason. Go to dingmans.com to find out more, figure out how to schedule an appointment, and see what all they have to offer. It's Dingman's Collision Center. We'll be right back with Tim Verghese, Inside Nebraska.
Yeah, I played a freshman quarterback at Temple my first year. I played a freshman quarterback at Baylor. I played a freshman quarterback here last year. I just think part of it is as a coaching staff, doing the things that they're most comfortable with. Maybe not the best play for this coverage, but the best play for that person. I think TJ's unbelievably adept in this offense. Thankfully, he was here this spring. He has a really good feel for it. We've given him reps all year long. He's played in a couple games. You can go out there and say, hey, don't turn the ball over, don't do this, don't do that. And then he'll play a game of don'ts. We're gonna go play. And to me, this is an amazing opportunity for our team to just let it rip and go play. And so I'm excited for him.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centris Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, they're going to be big most of the game at the 4-5 and very athletic. And that's one thing that they put a lot of stress on your defense. They've got forceful rim rollers, and they are all over the glass, and they're going every time. And their 3-man is his ability to play in ISO type situations with his size at 6'6". He actually played with Oogie at Bakersfield, and he can really score the basketball. And again, another guy that's athletic. And then their guards, they're one of their two are jet quick, and they're really good in transition, and they can get hot from three. And those bigs they're good in the pocket. They block shots very similar to 22 in the first game, but they got 4 of those guys, not only one. And if we go in there and try to challenge them at the rim, it's going to lead to transition baskets on the other end. So again, a lot of learning lessons from that first game that will definitely carry over into this next one. But just out of the gate, we need to play a lot smarter. I thought we got rushed a little bit. This team will try to speed us up with different presses that they're going to run, and it's imperative that we handle that the right way.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Raiola shotgun set. Johnson saddled right. 3 wide left. Dane Key wide right. Johnson vacates left. Chest high snap. Blitz comes. Back shoulder fade. Front right pylon. Key. He's got it. Touchdown. Huskers. Crashing over the pylon. Dane Key on a back shoulder throw. Made the twisting catch. Tumbling down into the black end zones. And the black balloons float to the heavens. 6-0 Nebraska.
Welcome back. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
We are doing pretty well. You sound a
hanging
little subdued this morning. You all right?
I'm good. I can't complain.
All right. Big weekend for Nebraska last week. We'll start on the recruiting side of things. Obviously, the huge visitors. You get the commitment from Tay Ellis early in the week. Kind of seems like Amir Brown's about to commit at any moment as well. Like,
why he hasn't already.
What's the state of those visitors, especially the ones that seem like they might be on the verge of committing?
Yeah, I mean, the Nebraska needed to move the needle with guys and work close on a couple guys, and I think they've done what they can. I mean, obviously, Tay was one where this was a first impression type visit. I thought Nebraska had a chance to get over the top. I didn't think they'd get this done so fast. That's a recruitment that is going to continue to play out. Texas does continue to want him. A&M continues to want him. A couple schools still in that mix. So this is going to be a battle, I think, till the end. But for Brown, I mean, yeah, like it is kind of just feels like a matter of time at this point. I mean, Nebraska really did a good job across back-to-back weekends. Showing him just kind of what it's like to, I mean, it helps that the games he got to see Northwestern and Emmett Johnson go off there. He got to see USC, Emmett Johnson go off once again. And then it really helps when Matt Rule and Emmett Johnson himself and EJ Bartero are telling you, hey, you remind me of Emmett Johnson. It really helps, So feel good about Nebraska there eventually getting that done. That feels like something that it's just a matter of time. With Nebraska there, and that'd be a big win. Notre Dame wanted him. He was at Notre Dame before he visited Nebraska these past 2 weekends. Was supposed to visit Texas this past weekend, instead canceled that trip to be at Nebraska. North Carolina wanted to keep him in state, had his commitment for a while. He decommitted from there. Had a few other national programs in pursuit. And I think it was, if you go back and watch his junior film, this is a recruitment that was about to take off again. I think he is going to see a nice bump up in the rankings based on what he's done this season. So overall, I mean, you feel good about what Nebraska's done. And then, I mean, that's not it. coming out of the weekend, I feel like, I mean, he said it on the record to our Sam Spiegelman. Nebraska's the leader for Ahmad Hudson now, and that's no small thing. I know that's recruitment that's going to continue to play out till July, and at least till July. And this is recruitment that LSU is going to have a final say in. But, you talk about taking advantage of the opportunity. I mean, this is a guy that LSU was his first offer. He loves LSU. He'd love to, stay home, play for that program. There's a lot of uncertainty around that program right now. I think it would hurt him a whole lot to turn down the opportunity to play for LSU, but he's built really strong relationships at Nebraska. He's felt really comfortable at Nebraska across 3 visits now. And ultimately, I've said this before about this recruitment. What I'm watching for with the Ahmad Hudson recruitment is Nebraska is doing a good enough job building a relationship there, where the goal should be when it's commitment time. He calls and is set to, kind of make his decision, and he has to call and tell schools no. That's usually when these decisions are made. These really tough decisions. It's can you tell the school no? Are you capable of doing that? Is Ahmad Hudson going to be capable of telling Matt Rule and Fred Hoiberg no by the end of this? I'm starting to believe he's going to have a really hard time doing that when it's time to make a decision.
How much of it is, in your mind, just how good the hire is at LSU?
I think that's part of it. I mean, it absolutely matters. But, I think regardless of who the hire is, I think LSU is going to have a say there. But, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he's going to keep a close eye on how all this is playing out. I think he's going to keep a close eye on, what is the emphasis on tight end development here? Because the previous staff, there was an emphasis under Brian Kelly and that staff on, featuring the tight end position, developing the tight end position. Is that going to stick? I would imagine so. But, it has already seemed like a bit of a shit show, to put it lightly, that search down there. Not something I expected. I mean, it's Louisiana and things happen, but that is the best job in the market. And I kind of thought they'd position themselves that way. But so far they're making it, they're pulling themselves out of just the contention for some of these bigger names. So curious to see how LSU handles that, and curious how Ahmad obviously reacts. But yeah, I think that's definitely part of it in that recruitment, and Albert Simeon and some of those recruitments. But the least you can do at Nebraska is take advantage of the opportunity of uncertainty at a program that typically is pretty stable and typically does a good job of keeping their top talent in state.
So it's funny you mentioned the LSU kind of the shit show, I guess is the best way to put it, because I don't know how much recruits pay attention to this, but it can't be great that you're hey, the governor's kind of calling the shots here. That took a weird turn, kind of regardless of how you feel about whatever. But if the governor of Nebraska was hey, yeah, your AD's never hiring this coach, that got weird in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's understandable, just understanding who that AD is. And it's again, it's the same thing in Florida where okay, hey, that AD should probably not be making this hire, but handle it like a operation, handle it like a university. Don't allow, again, just don't allow the governor to intervene here. But,
you don't want to make this happen through press conferences, right? That's a terrible way to go about it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just part of it. It's perception's everything. And, I'll say this too, talking to people down there, at least for people around Louisiana, it's man, see, football is such a big thing here. Governor Landry got to get involved, so for them, it's not a red flag necessarily, but for the candidates for the job and for everyone around, it's oh, this is a massive red flag.
Did he have to get involved? Did he have to get involved? I agree, though. I think that should by far be the best job on the market, but it gets that's a super strange position they've put themselves in. Although I guess they've promoted the interim AD to full time now, so at least they have an AD.
Is he going to be able to make the hire?
I don't know. We don't. Governor Landry hasn't weighed in yet, but I do wonder, Tim, when these hires are being made, and I know that they're not going to hire a head football coach just to appease Ahmad Hudson or whatever, right? But how much does the pre-existing relationship, maybe from wherever the coach was before, impact a guy? Because there's a chance that LSU could be starting over relationally with Ahmad Hudson, right?
Yeah, I think more than like, I mean, I don't think more than like, I think there's going to be a good amount of the personnel staff. And that's part of what you're kind of seeing with this job is, I think the GM and a lot of the personnel guys are staying in place and they're building around that. So there's some of that pre-existing relationship. But yeah, I mean, in terms of who is head coach, offensive coordinator, tight ends coach, like the actual guys he's going to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis he's potentially going to be starting from scratch. And so that's a very interesting part of that recruitment and this whole thing. Like, I mean, part of this, why LSU made this move when they did, is I do think they feel threatened in this 26 cycle. I mean, 27 cycle. You look at the top guys in the country, like it's Louisiana, Elijah Haven, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. A couple places have him number one at the position. He's from Louisiana. Albert Simeon, the number one interior offensive lineman, he's from Louisiana. Ahmad Hudson, the number one tight end in the country, he's from Louisiana. This is one of those classes where LSU can't afford to lose, and they feel threatened not just by. I mean, Nebraska is obviously involved in Simeon and Hudson. Texas A&M is very involved in all three of those recruitments, and specifically in those two recruitments. So, like they feel threatened. They feel like this is something where they can. So there's part of this where whoever takes his job, it's going to be an expectation from day one that landing Ahmad Hudson and Albert Simeon and getting a shot at the top quarterback in the country. Do you have a top guy in state and Peyton Houston committed? But doing your due diligence and making sure the best talent in the state doesn't leave the state is going to be a priority. So yeah, I'd expect a full court press from whoever takes that job within the first week on Ahmad Hudson.
Real quick before we kind of move on to some other things here, Tim. Amir Brown, what's his timeline like? You mentioned a July at least for Ahmad Hudson. Do you know what Amir Brown's timeline is looking like?
Yeah, it feels more imminent. I mean, like he told me ahead of the weekend, like if he did in fact make it up to Nebraska the second time, like he straight up told me Nebraska was the leader, had a chance to potentially get over the top. But I am curious again. He just reopened his recruitment. What I'm curious now to see is how much he's entertaining other programs at this point. How hard other programs are pushing to get him on campus. Because at this point it feels like this is Nebraska's recruitment to lose, and I mean that could happen. Like, it could happen as soon as like tonight. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where like he feels pretty imminent. I would say, if not in the near future, by the end of his junior season, I think he wanted to slow things down just a little bit after reopening. But I think these two visits to Nebraska were just so strong. His relationship with EJ Bartel, building that relationship with Trey Taylor and the rest of the staff are just so strong. Feels like, I mean, this is Nebraska's recruitment to lose. And yeah, again, barring any other visits elsewhere, just feels like a matter of time before they get this done.
So DB and Ravi spoke to Trey Taylor Monday, and his relationship with the recruits in this class, the 26 to 27 class, and his ability to just kind of go out on social media and talk to all these guys or call them up and whatever. Like, how important is his involvement in the recruitment of a guy like Amir Brown or Ahmad Hudson for Nebraska and getting either one of those guys, or really?
It matters a ton. I mean, for Amir, it's less so just as the running back. Like it's more about it helped to have Trey work in that recruitment, be in touch, and kind of the effort Trey's done to rally the fan base and like let them know that hey, Amir's a target. We want Amir, and the fan. Obviously the love that Brown has seen from the fan base, from the coaching staff, all of that has mattered. I mean, you don't land Ahmad Hudson without Trey Taylor. Like if Nebraska's going to do it, it's going to be because of the help of Trey Taylor. It's going to be because Trey Taylor is committed here. Like those two have had an established relationship since before either of them were even considering Nebraska, much less visited. They camped at LSU way back in the day. I think it was after both of their freshman years. Build that camaraderie at that camp, just throwing with each other and developed a bit of a bond. At the time, Trey was and still has been one of LSU's top quarterback targets. There was one of those schools that Nebraska had to fight to. Like I mentioned, LSU has a quarterback committed in state. They have one of the top quarterbacks in the country also in the state. They have Garrett Nussmeier's little brother, another top quarterback in the state, right down the road, and essentially a layup recruitment for them if they wanted it. There was the reason Trey was very, very high on their board. The reason why the LSU fought basically till the end to try and edge Nebraska out very late alongside A&M and a couple others, because they know of what Trey Taylor's capable of as a talent perspective, and they know the relationships he's built. He's built a really strong relationship with Ahmad Hudson. Like that's one of those where as soon as he committed to Nebraska, Ahmad became a top target for Nebraska. Nebraska became a much more serious player in the recruitment of Ahmad Hudson. Tay Ellis took note of Nebraska. Nebraska was in that recruitment for a while. Garrett McGuire offered him last year. Nebraska wasn't taken seriously in that recruitment until Trey Taylor committed. So he matters a ton. And like talking to top pass catchers around the country, Khalil Taylor, 4-star out of Pittsburgh. Some of these guys, Nebraska's after Matthew Gregory out of Pennsylvania as well. For a lot of those guys, it means a lot that they have a quarterback that's recruiting them. You know, they're at a lot of these other schools. They're hearing from the quarterback's coach and the wide receivers coach and the offensive coordinator and these different staff members. They're hearing from these quarterback targets of like, hey, I'd like to team up with you if I end up here or here or here. But then you've got Trey who's like, hey, come to Nebraska with me. Like, come to Nebraska with me. And then he's at these visits with these guys. Like, from Cooper to Willergear, like Nebraska is like the favorite in that recruitment, but it's really helped him and given him a peace of mind to know, okay, well, this is Nebraska's quarterback succession for the foreseeable future. It's Dylan Raiola now, and then it's TJ Latif, and then Dayton Raiola is going to compete for the job, but then it's Trey Taylor, and Trey Taylor is going to compete for the job. But having that just that stability at the quarterback position, knowing what these guys are capable of, and then seeing what Taylor's done on the field this year. Guys have taken note what Taylor's done on field, like in the city of Chicago. It matters a ton. Seeing that on-field production, seeing him make a case as the number one, like one of the top quarterbacks in the country. All of that matters a ton, and why I think Nebraska's going to end up with a really, really, really good 27 classes because they have Taylor leading the way, and because he's gone above and beyond as a peer recruiter in building some of these relationships.
Tim, you mentioned kind of the quarterback succession. It's happening at least temporarily a little bit sooner than any of us anticipated this week with TJ Latif starting at UCLA. You obviously saw him as a recruit. You've seen him in his limited exposure here at Nebraska. For people that maybe are not super familiar with his game outside of what we've seen at Akron and Houston Christian, what do you think? What did you think of TJ Latif coming out as a prospect, and what do you think from what you've seen of him so far?
Yeah, so I was honestly going into his senior year just a little. I saw the vision with TJ as like a high floor prospect, but I didn't think too much of like the upside just in terms of like, okay, well, I need to see more. Then he took a big jump as a senior, like a significant jump as a senior, playing like obviously in the toughest league. We've talked about this Trinity League, toughest league in high school league. You'll find that's Mater Dei High School out there. That's St. John Bosco. That's J. Sarah Catholic. That's all these different programs. Out west, Santa Margarita High, and Servite, like all these top power programs that always have Power 4 talent. And he was playing those guys. And on top of that, they had a national schedule where they had St. Francis Academy in Baltimore on the schedule. They had Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas on the schedule. They played, I believe it was 4 of the top 25 teams in the country. And that's like, they had the 7th hardest schedule, I believe, in the country, just pound for pound in terms of a high school schedule. And you look at what they've done this year. I believe they're like 3-6 this year. They were like 8-2 last year. And the 2 games they lost were like by 2 scores. And it was off the back of Latif. If it was off Latif, like leading his team, staying composed, moving the chains on the ground when he needed to, but more than anything, delivering with accuracy and precision from the pocket. I thought what he did against Mater Dei, St. John Bosco, and some of these tough defenses, facing pressure, but like trusting his guys to make plays. He's a guy that I don't think you have to count on. Like he's going to be quick in his release out of the pocket. He's going to be safe with the ball in his hands. And okay, he's not the strongest arm, but you saw it against Houston Christian. He can throw with decisiveness downfield. He can throw. He can let it rip. But he's not got a massive arm, but he can let it rip for sure. Can deliver at all 3 levels. Can create on the run. Can do some stuff as a dual threat. Can open to what Nebraska can maybe do as an option team. Potentially what they can do from the QB run standpoint. There's a lot to really like with his just composure, his accuracy, his decision making. And you saw that last week where it wasn't probably the setting he wanted to be in, and it wasn't that, but for the most part, I think you saw through the air, at least he's the guy that's not going to put the ball in harm's way. He's going to take risks, and I think you're going to see that again on Saturday. He's going to take risks, but more often than not, he's going to trust his guys to make plays, and the times he does put it up in the air, it's going to be in a position where, okay, his guy makes a play or is incomplete. It's not going to be in a position where the defense has a chance to get his hands on it. So I'm intrigued to see how that carries over. Back he's back in California, somewhat familiar territory. Our Steve Mark had a story up, but his first start, he threw a pick six to Roderick Pleasant, who at the time was on the opposing team, and now is going to be starting for UCLA. So bit of a kind of full circle moment for him. And after that pick six, he composed, rallied his team back, and they, I believe, won that game. So I'm looking for that. Looking for, hey, I'm anticipating there's going to be a mistake or two. It's going to be like last week where maybe the ball gets batted out of his hands, or he gets the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, or something happens. I'm looking for his composure and his resiliency after that first mistake, if there is one. But yeah, I'm looking for a composed quarterback. Everything you've heard from the staff in terms of, they're expecting this guy to take over the reins and be as normal. Like based on what you saw from him as a senior, I expect that as well. He arrived on campus ahead of schedule. It's no surprise that, he's kind of taken this thing on head on.
So hopefully Roderick Pleasant doesn't touch the ball at all. But with the addition of TJ Latif's legs, do you and the coaching staff pretty much said they're going to coach him exactly how they coach Dylan, and we think he's going to have the full playbook available to him. But do you expect the offense to look like any different or slightly different with the addition of TJ's legs in this game?
Somewhat, just because I think there's going to be more of it's more of just what Dana's tried to do at times. And I think they're going to hammer more of the kind of the RPO, working off RPO type stuff, more moving horizontally to set up vertical shots. I'm expecting more quick game, kind of expecting them to move a little quicker. But no, the only difference I would say is I think you're just going to see the QB run a little more when things break down. It's going to be okay, 1-2 reads and then go. I think there's going to be more of a emphasis from a coaching standpoint, from a coaching point standpoint of telling TJ okay, hey, 1-2 reads and go, versus with Dylan, it's okay, hey, progress through 3-4 reads, see if you can make something happen downfield, and then if not, then tuck it and run. But with TJ, I think it is going to be more of we're going to try and manufacture guys getting open earlier, get him some easy, just allowing him to get the ball and play easier. And if it's not there for him, allowing him to get out a little more. I thought I was surprised to see as much. We saw, I think, 2 of it. But as much zone read stuff with Dylan last week, I think you're just going to see a little more from that with TJ, just because it's better suited for his skill set. But besides that, it's going to be more of the same offense, I think.
Tim, on the other side of things, with Nebraska's defense going up against Nico Iamaleava. Oh, I messed it up. I messed it up.
It was you this time.
Iamaleava. Dang it. Obviously, a little bit more mobile than he showed last year at Tennessee, but the passing numbers haven't been as good. Completion percentage is about the same, but almost double the interception percentage. What do you expect, from Nico, considering what Nebraska's defense has been and what their strong suits have been, and how do you think Nebraska attacks that offense?
Yeah, I think people have said it before this week. This is this is one of those, it could go one of two ways. I think early on, if Nebraska is sound in coverage like they have been all year, and they have some early answers for, okay, things are broken down, Nico's trying to scramble, but there isn't really anything there, I think you can really frustrate that offense, and Nico in particular, into making mistakes and kind of grinding to a halt, and not finding sustained success, at least through the air and through Nico. I think if UCLA wins that game, it's through Nico. They're pretty stout through the ground. I'm expecting Nebraska is going to let up another 80 plus rushing yards, if not 100 plus rushing yards. But what you can't allow to happen is Nico to take the game into his own hands as both a thrower and a runner, where, okay, when he's on, it's okay, it doesn't matter how tight the coverage is, he can make that throw. When he's on, you can't allow him to get into that type of rhythm where he's on and he's feeling it the way he was a little bit against Penn State, and in the weeks following that when they went the little win streak. there were some throws in that sequence in that stretch of wins where I was like, okay, like we're really working with something there. And I'm still bullish on what Nico can be long term. I think it's hard not to be intrigued in the combination of traits. And if he sticks to his development, if they commit to building around him, whether here or if he goes somewhere else, so they commit to building around him and he commits himself to working through stuff. And like that's why like, there's a reason for that. Like there's going to be moments I think on Saturday where Nebraska is going to be in really good coverage. Donovan Jones is going to be in really good coverage, like he was, downfield a couple of weeks ago against Maryland. But Malik still found a way to fit that touchdown throw in. There's going to be something similar like that, just because that's what Nico is as a quarterback. But at the same time, compared to Malik Washington, Nico doesn't have that same composure. And when things start to break down around Nico, it can really break down. And I think that's something that Nebraska's going to try and take advantage of. I think John Butler had a confidence to him on Tuesday when he said, hey, like, I only have 9 games on tape. They only have 9 games with me on. Like, I think he plans on showing Nico some stuff he hasn't seen before. I think this defense is planning to attack this, and kind of limit what they can do through the air. Because like I said, I think just my personal feel on this, Nebraska wins this game if they eliminate everything but UCLA's run. Like if the only thing UCLA has is the run game, but the only consistent thing they have offensively is the run game, Nebraska can win that game. But if you allow Nico to take this into his hands where he's making plays off script, if he's starting to scramble a little bit and he's on the north side of 60 yards in the third quarter rushing, it's like, oh, right, like Nebraska's in trouble a little bit.
So go ahead.
Is this one of these games where I know that Ravi talked about it, at least for Michigan State, where you try to force the quarterback to throw the ball? Like, I understand Nebraska hasn't been too great at stopping the run, and Nico's their main source of running offense for UCLA. But is this one of those games where you just pack the box and you just trust the secondary that's been so good for you all season? Like, you're just telling them, look, you're going to be on islands. We're going to keep this guy in the pocket. You do what you have to do.
Yeah, I think there's some confidence gained last week. I talked to some people on USC's end coming out of the week. They were pretty surprised and honestly shocked at how well Nebraska held up in coverage on islands against their guys. They thought they'd have opportunities downfield. They thought, especially with the way Nebraska played them in the first half, they thought they'd have opportunities to take some shots and win those shots, and it really wasn't there. So I think that was a big confidence booster for guys in the secondary. I thought it was a big day, I think Donovan Jones really needed a day like that, like experiencing that, having a shutdown day. Like Rex Guthrie, I thought played well in coverage, and he's been up and down, I think, in coverage, even though he's been pretty good against the run. Like I thought all of that was really important and helps you against, again, another matchup where, UCLA's offense hasn't been this phenomenal thing all season, but like they have wide receivers that can win one-on-one matchups. They have guys that can win matchups. So Nebraska doesn't have to be stout, but I think building confidence last week gives you that opportunity and I think gives Butler the trust that, okay, we can load the box a little bit. We can play a little aggressive up front and trust our guys to win one-on-ones in the back end. Because, I think that's a strategy. I think you force Nico to win this game through the air and trust that your, number 2 rated pass defense is able to hold.
Tim, I want to go back to Nico for a second here because something you said sort of intrigued me. You were talking about obviously all the traits. You love the traits and what he's capable of. And, sometimes he finds a groove where he's basically unstoppable. But I do wonder, like, what has hindered his development? Obviously, he was with Josh Heupel for 2 years, who I consider to be a very good offensive coach. Obviously, has gotten a lot out of some quarterbacks out there. Like, what do you think has been the limiting factor on Nico he's in year 3 now. You would kind of expect him to be maybe further along than this.
Right. So for me personally, like I've had my beef with the Tennessee offense before in terms of what it does. I don't think like when I say the Tennessee offense isn't best suited for his development, I don't mean that Tennessee and Heupel's offense isn't capable of developing NFL talent or any of that. I just think in terms of what Nico needed coming out of high school, the opportunity to work within structure and figure out how to progress through reads and then start to work all of that together with hitting throws with timing and accuracy. When you're lacking in all of that and then you get thrown into an offense where, like Tennessee's, where you do get open looks, you do kind of only have to make half-field reads at times. And it's like, okay, you just have to hit the open receiver downfield, and you're a guy that's touch and accuracy is still somewhat developing. That's not just, it's not a perfect formula. So in my opinion, what Nico needed to have done coming out of high school was go to a true kind of pro style system like he has now, a true system that allows him to kind of progress through reads and work through some of these concepts that he's going to see at the next level, and not just do half read type stuff, and not just do things where guys are going to be open and just chuck it upfield, because it wasn't perfect for, like, there are guys like Joe, you're seeing it right now. Joey Aguilar is great in that system. The way they've recruited that position behind Nico are for guys that are better suited for that system and long-term with that system. And I do think Hypo compared to maybe Golish, Golish has adjusted his system and adapted his system to the quarterback. And I think if we had seen a little more from that with Hypo to adjust with what Nico could do with his legs, maybe you see a pairing of an offense that works better. I just think it wasn't an ideal situation in Tennessee on either end. I don't think Tennessee was getting what they thought they were getting out of Nico. I don't think Nico was getting what he thought he was getting out of that offense in terms of development. And so for me, I would want Nico to now stick with this offensive coordinator, this offensive system. I don't know what happens next at UCLA. I don't really know. I would imagine, though, based on what they've shown, that Jerry is well positioned to stick around on that offensive staff. He's been around through multiple staffs. He's been on that staff. I think he's well positioned to stick around. If I'm Nico, I think maybe if I can even figure it out, 3 years of development, but at least 2 more years of development, or at least 1 more year of development in this system, another full off season learning all of this. I think that's how I would tap into my ultimate upside, my long-term upside, because he was the guy in that 23 class with Arch Manning, Malachi Nelson, all these different guys that were, touted in that class. Jackson Arnold, which again, in retrospect, wasn't as talented as the classes we expected.
I was going to say, you just listed off kind of a murderer's row of disappointing.
You look at for sure. But that was the list of hey, these are the top quarterbacks in this class. And of those guys, Arch has obviously started to play better. But if you look at the tools and the upside, Nico was the guy that I was like, okay, this is number one, like QB1 in terms of what this could look like in 3-4 years. It hasn't been a smooth road. We're 3 years down the line now, and it isn't what I thought it would be in terms of we're not anywhere close to a finished product, but we can still get there with another year, another full off season of development.
In case you're wondering, Malachi Nelson now at UTEP.
Yes, yeah, and that's one where, hey, by the way, with Malachi, that's one where it's shoulder. There was a shoulder injury in there that's been kind of kept, that kind of ruined a lot and messed up a lot. And there's all in terms of what he could do with it. And there's also just early on, he wasn't super, super dialed in at USC. Part of it allowed him to kind of fall behind, and then you get hurt and all of that. And just things compile on top of themselves, and then you end up where he's at UTEP now. And as far as I know, he's been good, but not tremendous.
It's been a little rough.
So not even good.
It's been a little rough.
Ravi's looking at it. That's right.
It's 55% completion, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 picks. It's been a little rough.
Yeah,
it's been rough for our guy, but it's been rough for Jackson Arnold getting benched at Auburn too. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just that cycle was just really, really weird in retrospect. And again, a lot of lessons. I to this day, I saw Malachi Nelson at a national 7-on-7 tournament, put together the best 7-on-7 tournament performance I've ever seen. Unbelievably dialed, unbelievably throwing with accuracy at all 3 levels of the field, composed, leading his guys. And he's playing with Makai Lemon was there, Mateo, DJ U's little brother, who's now obviously a defensive end at Oregon, was playing tight end there. I saw that and I was like, okay, this is, and then just the shoulder's gone, the arm's just shot. Happens sometimes.
Tim, what's your path to victory for Nebraska in this one?
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. I think it's lean on Emmett, trust the ground game, get yourself into some easy looks offensively where you trust your Isaiah Hunters and Luke Lindenmeyers and Ja'Cory Barneys and Dane Keys to gain explosive plays. You know what you have in your receiver room. You know what you have up front. I'm looking for, and I'm going to have it up later today, but I'm looking for another, hey, offensive line, build on last week. I think you had a good performance as a line last week. Continue to build on that. Continue to kind of take pride in moving the line of scrimmage for Emmett Johnson. Take pride in, creating these big holes for him. There's going to be opportunity to do that, in my opinion. And then from there, I think on the flip side of it, when you're talking about Nebraska's defense, like I said, like take away how much Nico hurts you. Like if you take Nico out of the equation and you limit the opportunities he has to hurt Nebraska, whether through the air or as a runner, I mean, you feel good. There isn't a whole lot on that offense that can really punish this defense. So, or can really punish this team, at least consistently across 4 quarters. I mean, yeah, I think JV and Thomas is capable of breaking out an explosive rushing touchdown. I think Jalen Berger is going to be capable of some long, tough runs, but is that necessarily going to mean is that going to beat Nebraska necessarily? No. I mean, if that's all you limit, if that's all you get out of those guys, then you feel pretty good about Nebraska's chances of winning that game. And I would say this too, like the last thing for me on just what Nebraska can do to win this game. I thought last week was special, like the worst day relatively from the special teams. Just they weren't like a factor in the win, and they weren't, looking for more from them. Like, see if there's something they can do. I mean, like Lulla said, like the staff has said, it takes a little more from everybody without Dylan Raiola this week. And it's going to be a BYOJ kind of game. Bring your own juice. Like they're going to have to do that. I'm curious on for you guys, like, how do y'all feel about how this team's going to do when it's like, oh, hey, Dylan's not on the plane. Dylan's not on the locker room. Dylan's not leading us out of is that absence going to be felt or because I think TJ, I think the leaders on offense are capable of doing it, but Dylan is such a big presence and is like such an established leader, and just everyone kind of falls in line behind him. I'm curious how much he's missed on Saturday when they actually have to go and travel to a game without him.
Yeah, I think it helps that the first road game is the first game after he's gone, where you're kind of rallying around TJ and everybody's really dialed in coming off the injury. I think, I think Dana said it earlier in the week, and I was like, well, it kind of feels a little counterintuitive where he's just like, yeah, we just really want to go play a game right now. Like that is, he's like, I'm glad we're not on a bye week this week. Like we need to get out there and play. And the more I've thought about it, I think with the kind of the mentality of this team right now and the way I've talked about like, hey, we got to be better for TJ. We got to dial this thing up and be focused. I do think it's good that they're playing this week. And I think that having a bye week, even if it would have given more prep time for TJ, actually kind of would have been detrimental. I think the timing of this actually kind of works out perfectly where you get to have the game where you've rallied around your guy, get that little bounce you get, when you have something bad happen, you get a little bounce back from it. And then you get the bye week to kind of get TJ up to speed and everything like that. So I actually think the timing of it works out pretty well. And I do think they're going to bring their own juice. I really do. I thought it was pretty disrespectful, even with the injury, to have UCLA be favored in this game. I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think
it's just the uncertainty of just not really sure what to expect from Nebraska and a UCLA team that what are they? Are they the team that pre-Indiana or, what that looks like. So, but no, I agree in that sense of I think part of this too is you play TJ this week. It's to kind of rally around him. But then from here, it's like, okay, well, now this is the guy the rest of the way. It's business as usual. It should be the bye week of okay, now we install builds around him and then go, kind of attack these next two games. So, I agree. I don't think having a bye here or flipping it would have been ideal. But then on the flip side of this is getting that bye after this game does allow you to kind of normalize things and allow this team to kind of reset, recalibrate, and kind of fall in line behind TJ, behind the offense, however it works. Maybe it's behind Emmett, whoever the offensive leader is, but behind somebody for the last 2 weeks.
I do think, I also, and I understand nationally why they might not be dialed in on it, but I do actually think TJ's really good too. Obviously Dylan's QB1. I'm not one of those guys, but I also think TJ's really good. So I
think part of this is I think part of this is the movement. It's Nebraska's down to starting quarterback, and then you think back of what the backup situation has looked like here in years past. Nebraska's down to starting quarterback, and how disastrous that has sometimes looked behind the scenes. I think is part of the reason for this. Yeah, but I agree. TJ is a guy that is capable as long as he's not, again, I would say as long as he's not rattled, and I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be composed in the moment. I think something that he hinted at post-game on Saturday and something that, the staff and everybody kind of hinted at in post-game was, I don't necessarily know how well prepared he was for the USC game. I don't know if he was in practice, like, oh yeah, I'm going to see action. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, was like he said it himself after the game, like, I need to do better about preparing like the starter. And I think part of that is like staying dialed in practice and making sure you know what you're doing, you know? So I'm really interested to see how dialed he is. And like, I think that first drive, obviously it's going to be the scripted drive, but I think that first drive is going to tell us a lot about Dana's faith in TJ and where TJ's confidence is at.
Do you think we're going to see more of like a, I guess, traditional Dana Holgorsen type offense with TJ?
I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's going to be business as usual. Like, I don't think they're going to change up a whole lot. I mean, I think in terms of sequencing, I think you're going to see maybe him lean on more tempo and timing and different things to try and catch defense, like to throw different things at defenses. Maybe a little more spread looks just to maybe clean out the picture. As weird as that sounds for TJ, like give him 5 reads instead of 2, like give him something quick. Maybe more of that, but like, I don't know necessarily if you're going to see, like a shift in philosophy. I think you're just going to see more like I think you're going to see more dialed Dana. I think he's going to be more in charge and more in control of the snap to snap, how the offense runs snap to snap.
That is Tim Verghese inside Nebraska. Tim, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you guys.
That's Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Interesting stuff there. There's
a lot going on there.
I like that nickname, by the way, Dialed Dana.
Dialed Dana.
Dialed Dana? Oh, I don't know.
We'll see after the first drive if we have Dialed Dana.
I would say first drive, I think we'll have Dialed Dana. We'll see second, third, fourth drives.
First drive Dana is a monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
second, third, fourth drive Dana.
Fourth is actually pretty good. Second and third, like the numbers
Couple
were.
questions.
Yeah, so first drive was good. I saw somebody chart it. I can't remember who. I really don't remember. It was on Twitter. First drive was really good. Kind of dipped second, third. Fourth drive, you get a little bit of a bump back up, and then that third quarter. Third quarter, we got to work on a little bit there.
The third quarter for Nebraska is like the third quarter for the Knicks. Just skip it, please. Just skip it.
Doesn't mean anything to anybody but you.
Yeah, I know. It's bad. Just what Nebraska's third quarter is.
Are they
That's
bad?
the Knicks' third. Just ignore it.
Just bad?
Just bad.
That is that's Rico. I'm Ravi. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, I think that the biggest things we took away from that first ball game, first of all, how incredibly fun playing with all those screaming middle school kids. They were very passionate and they gave us a lot of fuel for our fire out there. But our biggest takeaways were when we play with good pace on offense, that we were pretty hard to guard. And I thought that we had some really good possessions in transition where we shared the basketball and moved it well and played with pace. I thought Britt Prince was very aggressive to start that ball game, scored 8 of our first 12, was kind of hunting her shot. Our team is best when we see that out of Britt. And then, we just had lots of contributions just defensively. I thought Haley really set the tone for us with backcourt pressure, and lots of other players benefited with steals because of the havoc that she was causing on the ball.
I mean, I've got to watch the film. I mean, we get beat off the dribble. They essentially went to 4 guards there for a while, and we had some matchups that weren't great for us, but just the understanding of when I'm guarding a guy that's a great shooter and when I'm guarding a guy that's not a great shooter, and I need to be in help and I need to protect the paint a little bit more when I'm guarding a guy that's a 25% 3-point shooter, and we were having a hard time with that registering. So those are things that we have to get better at, and I've said it before. It puts a lot of pressure on the 4 or 5 guys that played last year, because they can't be part of the problem. And having said that, it's Fedor's second year, not even, because he didn't start till the middle of the year. It's Ty's second year, and it's Jackson's second year. So 3 of the 5 outside of Jason and Isaac are guys that have only in their second year.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
So when I talk about people respecting us nationally, it's part of that is us too.
Iamaleava claims the high snap off a play fake, hits one left, leaping interception, Andrew Marshall.
Either you're with us or you're not, and that's everywhere.
Johnson vacates left, chest high snap, blitz comes, back shoulder fade, front right pylon, he's got it.
I think Coach Rule's message was spot on with, everybody else needs to elevate.
And that's how this game's going to come to an end. Just heartbreaking.
Glad we don't have a bye week right now. We need to go play, and our players are, they're pissed off, they're motivated, and they're ready to go play.
60 minutes, balls out. Let's open up the whole can of kick ass.
Ball stripped, it's picked up with area at the 20, 15, 10, 5, scoop and score.
You blitz all night.
On the left half, snap back, hold is down, the kick is blocked. It's blocked.
We stay with them, and we shut them down because we can.
Viola out of the gun, single back left. Claims the snap, off play action, lobs a fade, near left side of the end zone for Hunter, twisting catch. Hunter's got it. Touchdown, Huskers.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
Handoff Johnson over right guard. Powers, fights, blinds, touchdown, Huskers. 2:44 to go. Emmett Johnson will not be denied.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Great stuff there, Shano. Appreciate it as always.
Fire.
Also,
I got the Bane in there for you.
I do appreciate the Bane. There was a there was a guy down in Lincoln last week that outside the stadium when I was walking from the Omaha Steaks tailgate over to Beer House where we were doing the post-game show, and he was have you seen the street evangelist people that have like the Jesus is the only way signs, and he's got the which whatever, like I committed to it, that's great, but he had a like a bullhorn, and really sounded like Bane.
Was he saying Jesus stuff?
He was, yeah, but it because of the bullhorn, it sounded like a
Jesus is your savior.
No, it was like he was doing the thing. And sorry, the Bane thing reminded me of that because it was honestly distracting. I was like, is is Bane trying to get me to go to church?
Do you feel in charge?
No, because Jesus is in charge. See, that should have been his.
Because you're not.
That should have been the thing there. But no, I'm not making fun of the guy. I just the Bane voice really got in my head a little bit. I was like, is Bane preaching to me right now? This is incredible.
You merely adopted the dog.
You merely adopted your savior.
I was born in it, molded by it.
I don't know.
I didn't see the light until I was already a man.
Anyway.
And by then it was nothing to me but blinding.
Are you done?
It's a good quote.
It is a good quote.
I wondered what would break first.
I like Bane a lot. I appreciate that, Shane.
Your spirit or your body?
Had a couple questions I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna ignore you. I had a couple questions in the chat. Kyle first asked why there's such a stark difference between the first drive of the game and subsequent drives where Nebraska, there seems to be a pretty large departure in Nebraska's effectiveness. And I mean, you do see that a lot, the scripted plays versus once you get into the game plan a little bit. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that I think has to do with adjustments that the defense makes. And then you're kind of trying to counter adjust and things like that. I also do think there is a part of it where once the game gets going, sometimes you get in your own head a little bit about trying to maybe outsmart the opponent instead of just saying like, hey, like this is working, stop it before I change something.
Yeah, that's a tough one to balance out.
And I think it's a real thing.
Yeah, that's a tough one to balance out where you're sitting there and it's one of those things where you're let's say you're running the ball extremely effectively. And I feel like USC was a victim of this against Nebraska. You're running the ball extremely effectively and then you're just like, okay, the last thing they're going to expect us to do is pass it now because we just gashed them for 10, 11, 15 yards. So they're going to expect us to hand it off again. Nah, let's pass the ball. Let's pass the ball because they're not going to be expecting this. They're going to load up the box, and they're going to try and stop us from doing this. So we're going to throw it over their heads. And again, I feel like USC was a victim of this because if they would have just stuck to the run, I feel like they would have been a lot more effective against Nebraska, but they decided they wanted to air it out, and Nebraska's defensive backs do what Nebraska's defensive backs do, and they shut it down. And Dana Holgorsen, I understand the first drive is scripted, and you're just like, these are the plays we're going to run. This is what is going to happen in this point, at this point, at this point, at this point. And then the second drive, you're like, okay, well, this play worked a lot better than maybe we thought it was going to work. So how about we take this and flip it around, and we'll do the opposite because that worked. They're going to expect us to continue to do that. And it's one of those things where when you're in the stands, at least, and it happened a lot against USC, the fan base is like, stop getting cute. Stop doing this. This worked. Go back to this. And it's one of those where, on the sideline, I'm sure the coaches are discussing it amongst themselves, and they're like, all right, this is working. Let's stick with this. But let's try this one time, and maybe it ends up in a negative play.
Yeah, Stank brought up an interesting point. I think he said they are trying to see – it's almost like they're testing to see how much they can do effectively and what the defense is kind of vulnerable to. Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair point where they're sort of like probing the defense to see, hey, this is where they're a little bit vulnerable. Probably not going to be able to do this. They played this really well. But I do think there is a part of it where, it is just very human nature to sort of overthink things sometimes. I think there is, we talk about it kind of flippantly, but one of the things that I do admire about the simplicity, and I say simplicity in terms of like number of different types of plays, not the simplicity of executing.
It's simple.
Of like triple option,
just
right?
Don't get tackled.
Like the simplicity of the triple option, I think really lended itself to like, hey, just keep doing the thing you're good at, right? Like I get that there are different wrinkles and different things you could do when you could do, some straight running plays, some dive, they throw option pass in there sometimes. Like I get it's not as simple as sometimes we make it out to be, but if you can execute something at a really high level and you just sit there and you go, hey, this is the thing we're good at. Let's just keep doing that thing. Even if you have a couple stretches where it's like, that's a little more frustrating than we want it to be. But I think that is a pretty tricky balance between that and let's say they're like, oh no, they do have this figured out.
Yeah.
Like knowing where that line is.
Yeah.
And I think the big difference to me is when you're putting, and DB says this a lot, when you're putting a defense in conflict versus when you're just running kind of a standard play. So the difference would be like an RPO puts a defense in conflict, right? Because they have to read multiple things, take one thing away, and then try and live with what's left, right? Whereas let's say you're just a straight handoff kind of traditional running play to Emmett Johnson, you can play that a little bit more straight up as a defense, right? Maybe even USC did a really good job of this, of putting the defense in conflict with just their blocking schemes, with the counter, right? With pulling those two tight ends and using different pullers, but still kind of running the same plays. That also puts a defense in conflict without really have a ball handling element to it. So I think when you're putting a defense in conflict, you can afford to be more patient, because at some point their discipline will break down. And that's kind of what you're counting on. Whereas if you're running more of a traditional running and passing system, I do think there is a tendency to want to stay ahead of what the defense is doing. And when that's a very air raid thing, by the way, is you'll find them get into rhythms and look like world beaters. I mean, I love Mike Leach. I watch a ton of Mike Leach football, right?
How many times did that happen with Texas Tech?
All the time.
Yeah.
Happened with Texas Tech, happening with Washington State, happening with Mississippi State. Like, they would go on like 3 or 4 drives. We're like, oh, they're not going to get stopped all game.
You're just like touchdown.
And then it's like 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and then they find it again. So I do think when it's more of a traditional in terms of just running or just passing the ball, you do have these falling in and out of rhythm depending on where the adjustments are leading you. And so I think that's a very long-winded way to say that's why sometimes, I mean, the scripted plays, you're kind of always going to be ahead, or you should be if you're a good offensive mind, which Dana obviously is. You should be ahead on those. So those are going to look really good. And then it's about sort of finding the rhythm again at various points throughout the game, because you're probably not going to stay in rhythm for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
they're
hard
going to make adjustments. You got to readjust, and you have to hit sort of the right cadence of hitting them on the wrong adjustment.
Yeah, after they had adjusted for something that you were already changing. Like, it's one of those where you hear people say, keep running what you're like, keep doing this until they stop you. But like you just said with the air raid, we're not going to keep doing this until they stop us. We're going to adjust so they can't stop us. And that's when you run into an issue.
Yeah, because sometimes you adjust too early.
Yeah.
Sometimes you adjust too late.
Or your adjustment fits into what they were running.
Yeah. Or they adjust at the same time you adjust, and it just it's unfortunate, right? So there is a lot of that. Dank said, man, it did feel good watching USC try to throw, and we just said no.
It did.
That was a lot of fun.
It feels real nice.
Like 9 of 23 for a guy that had been kind of cooking this year in Jaden Maeva was pretty fun to watch.
Just one play.
Yeah.
Just the flea flicker.
Yeah. And honestly, like they had to trick their way into getting 100 yards passing. Like that.
And it was still like, it was a really beautifully placed ball, but also the defense was right there.
Yeah, like he didn't get fooled.
No, like he stuck with him. He was behind him. Like he got fooled for maybe like half a second. He was like, nope, sticking with this guy, and he was there.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even say he got fooled. He just the break, like it was a good route.
Yeah,
but then he caught up. That had to be a great throw. That had to be a really great.
It was also more like it was a pretty extended flea flicker. Like the running back got it.
Yeah,
cut to the side.
Yeah,
like, honestly, could have kept going.
Usually the flea flicker is you pretend like you're going right up the middle, you pitch it back out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all the way out to the sideline.
They like moved the pocket on the flea flicker.
Yeah, it was it was pretty interesting. I'm not sure I've seen a flea flicker done that way before.
Lincoln Riley's a genius.
Well, that is I think a fair assessment
Lincoln
of the
Riley's
situation.
A
We didn't get to one of the other questions here. We'll try and get to it. I think Headley asked it. We'll try and get to it after Mike Sautter, but it is time to talk to Mike Sautter from Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps. He is covering state volleyball, state football, lots of things. He's called Nebraska basketball. There is a lot going on with our guy, so make sure you stick around to listen to that. And also make sure you go check out our friends at Centris Federal Credit Union. If you've been looking on the apps, trying to look for your first home, they've got you covered. You can make that dream a reality by going to Centris Federal Credit Union. If this is your first time buying a home, they've got a great option called My First Home Program. It offers up to 105% financing with no private mortgage insurance required. Plus, they have a local team of experts ready to help you every step of the way. Because if you haven't gone through this before, there's a lot going on. You're going to need help in the first time buying a house. Get started today visiting centrisfcu.org. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions applied. Federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. Mike Sautter coming up next.
Yeah, I mean, I played a freshman quarterback at Temple my first year. I played a freshman quarterback at Baylor. I played a freshman quarterback here last year. I just think part of it is as a coaching staff, doing the things that they're most comfortable with. Maybe not the best play for this coverage, but the best play for that person. I think TJ's unbelievably adept in this offense. Thankfully, he was here this spring. He has a really good feel for it. We've given him reps all year long. He's played in a couple games. You can go out there and say, hey, don't turn the ball over, don't do this, don't do that, and then he'll play a game of don'ts. We're gonna go play. And to me, this is an amazing opportunity for our team to just let it rip and go play. And so I'm excited for him.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centris Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, they're going to be big most of the game at the 4-5 and very athletic. And that's one thing that they put a lot of stress on your defense. They've got forceful rim rollers, and they are all over the glass, and they're going every time. And their three-man is his ability to play in ISO type situations with his size at 6'6". He actually played with Oogie at Bakersfield, and he can really score the basketball. And again, another guy that's athletic. And then their guards, they're one of the two are jet quick, and they're really good in transition, and they can get hot from three. And those bigs they're good in the pocket. They block shots very similar to 22 in the first game, but they got four of those guys, not only one. And if we go in there and try to challenge them at the rim, it's going to lead to transition baskets on the other end. So again, a lot of learning lessons from that first game that will definitely carry over into this next one. But just out of the gate, we need to play a lot smarter. I thought we got rushed a little bit. This team will try to speed us up with different presses that they're going to run, and it's imperative that we handle that the right way.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Mike Sautter.
Yeah.
Mike Sautter.
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the spot.
Mike Sautter.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Mike Sautter of Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps. What's going on, Mike?
Well, a lot is going on.
I'll say a lot's going on. You can't say not much. There's a very much lot going on.
Decent. There's a lot going on right now, today especially. Well, this weekend.
What does your weekend look like, Mike?
Well, I'm gonna just focus on football today because I was at volleyball the last 2 days, yesterday all day and night. So I was thinking about running to volleyball for a little bit, but then I would only be there for like 2 hours, and then it doesn't make sense. So I went. So I decided to just be home today during the day and get some work done and prepare for Nebraska men's basketball game tomorrow at noon. But today I believe my plan is going to be Gretna versus York at 4:00. And then when that's over, go to Papio South, Millard North at 7:00.
Roll Stanks.
And then when that is over-ish, or game flow right there, depending, head back to Gretna for Scott and Gretna East, which starts at 8:00. I did think about going to Howells Dodge Lawrence Nelson, because Howells isn't that far from Omaha, despite what people may think. It's only like an hour. Because that one I think is going to be a pretty good game. That was 28-24 in week 1 at Lawrence Nelson. So that quarterfinal game in Howells should be a good one too. So I thought about going to that at 5 and then coming back to the 8 at Gretna. But I think I'm just going to kind of try and get a little more in evening night. So
Mike, let me start with Gretna here, because you've been doing this a long time. Where does that ending of the Gretna-Norris game rank? Because, correct me if I'm wrong here. Down 10 with like 30 seconds left. Yeah. They go field goal, onside, Hail Mary, 2-point conversion in 30 seconds to win the ball game. Like, that is movie bonker stuff.
Yeah, that's stuff rolling downhill real fast.
Like, that doesn't even seem real. That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, but that Gretna offense, though, like, that's one of those things you just have to keep playing, because they can strike and score so fast. Knutson is very good, specifically in 2-minute drill situations. He's the best quarterback in Class B, like pure quarterback, right? So, and that offense can really get you. So, and they can hum at you real fast. So, expect them to score a lot of points today. That game was wild. Like, I don't think I've seen anything like that in maybe ever, like that quick to just let it kind of roll downhill on you. I mean, I jumped into the YouTube link like as I was driving home, because I'm like, oh wait, I gotta, he's listening to this, and like, yeah. So it was pretty impressive what they did. It was very impressive, especially against a good Norris team that had a great year and had high expectations. So Class B, very much so up for grabs, like we've said all year. And really, York going out to Scottsbluff and winning was a surprise.
Yeah,
Nate Kelly didn't play for Scottsbluff. That matters.
Yeah,
but credit to York for going out there after they just played them the week before and lost. I think it was 28-7 or something like that. So getting that done, and now they got to go on the road again. So we said all year. I guess I've said there's 6 teams in Class B. Just pull it out of a hat. One of those teams can win. Well, I think they're all kind of still alive. So it's very interesting. And Gretna's the scary one, because they did have a chance. If Gretna East, I think, could be very good. And I think that's a 50-50 shot. I think either one of those teams could win that game. And if Gretna East beats Scott, and if Gretna beats York, I mean, that game came down to the wire as well. They played a few weeks ago, or towards the end of the regular season. I think it was week 9, actually.
Yeah, so that'd be an all Gretna semifinal.
Yeah,
right?
that would be a rematch, obviously. And Gretna was driving with under a minute left, and Knutson scrambled. I mean, they're in that 2-minute drill, and they were driving to score, and just got the ball punched out from behind, and so, I mean, it came down to the wire that first time. But they both got to obviously win today, and I think it's going to be a tough, a little bit tougher of a task for Gretna East tonight to get that win, because Scott's playing, I think, pretty well. I mean, Scott's pretty banged up, misses some people, key pieces, and stuff like that. But I was there for a little bit of their game against Gering last week, and they just had a punt return and like really just hammering it down their throat. So Brendan Ruth had, I think, 3 touchdowns, and just they played really well. So this is that time of year that Scud is pretty good. And then even in B, sticking with B, you have Waverly Seward, which the first time they played, it was 28-24. And I think that was week 2. So that one could go either way. And hey, credit to Seward, man. Like, they lost their quarterback in the summer and people left them for dead. And they have just kept it rolling. So pretty neat to see what they have done. And that's a scary game for Waverly, the number 1 seed. If you think about it, I know they have all their attention. Seward has Waverly's attention for sure. But I think the biggest one of the night is the Bennington Elkhorn North rematch.
Yeah, I mean, they just played a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, and there's hey, there's some math.
Math time.
Oh no,
math with Mike.
Okay,
Mike, we went over this yesterday. I'm not good with numbers.
Ignore this. We'll get to this.
Okay.
Top number. Okay.
Okay.
But 301 yards total for Ethan Beachy, the Elkhorn North quarterback in that game. 377 total yards for Ty Bufakeo, the Bennington quarterback in that game. But key stat, Bennington had 3 turnovers. 3 is greater than 0.
Correct.
That's true.
And Elkhorn North had 0 turnovers in that game and won by 2. So
9-27.
Yeah. So, but the key thing here is Ethan Beachy, the quarterback at Elkhorn North, is hurt. I'm guessing he's going to give it a go tonight. He is banged up. He was seen on crutches in the middle of the game last week. There's undisclosed injury, if you will, and I will not disclose that because it's not my job. And so I think he's going to try and play through some pain, to be honest. And he is a way tough kid. So we'll see. And their backup can throw it around a little bit. So we'll see if that's it. But I mean, Bennington, you can't have 3 turnovers, right? Like, you can't have 3 turnovers and nothing. And that's what kind of did them in the last game. So that one should be a very, very good game, I think.
So, Mike, speaking of rematches, let's move over to Class A. Papio South and Millard North rematch. That went dramatically Papio South's way the first time. Early in the year, though, kind of a different quarterback, different system for Millard North. Like, lots of things have changed. They're playing better now. Papio South still playing well, though. How do you handicap that one, just in it being a closer, more competitive game than we saw the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it was 51-7. That's probably not, that's not on the cards, I think, tonight.
God, I hope not.
I think it'll be closer, right? I mean, I just do. And it was one of those things where, okay, they just played Cherry Creek, who's one of the best teams in the country, top 5, if not more than that, team in the country. Millard North did, and that was on the road, and they were hurt and all this stuff. Like, your daubers are way down, right? So I think that's maybe part of that loss. I don't, know, but I think that had something to do with it. And hey, Papio South's pretty good, right? Like, their 2 quarterback system is working really well, and has all year, and their defense has played great. There's kind of a team effort too, right? Like, everybody kind of just chipping in, especially losing Derek Jones, brought that up multiple times. And they're just kind of chugging along without him. And he's he's one of the best backs in the state, or was before he got injured. So the one thing, I was looking at stats, and I'm pretty sure this is not right. It says that Millard North had, there was a team carry for -9 yards, but it says that was their team total was -9 yards in the game. But that's not true because, Isaiah Traylor had 11 carries for 38 yards, and Cam Leggett had 5 for 48-3, and Zion Rush had 2 for 16. So, like, it's still a low number, right? Like, they roughly 100 yards. They're going to have to rush the ball way better than that, I believe, to have a chance tonight, because the key thing is Papio South special teams has been phenomenal. They go for 2 a lot, and they are like 70% hit rate on 2-point conversions. That's crazy for the whole year. So, yeah.
And that's been an area where Millard North has struggled in special teams throughout the season. They've gotten better, but it's been rough at times.
Correct. And last week I was at the Omaha North Millard North game, and Millard North did a great job of just running the ball. Like they just ran it, and kept patient with it, and they're gonna have to probably do that again tonight. Could be a decently low scoring ish game, meaning not in the 30s or anything like that. So it could be that.
Speaking of running the ball, one of the best running backs in the state is Tate Jenkins, Omaha Westside. They've got Carney in their quarterfinal. We talked to Coach Cool earlier this morning. What does that game look like for you, Westside versus Carney?
For Carney, it looks like the Omaha North game for them. Just play keep away, really.
Limit possessions.
Yeah, just limit possessions and play keep away. Do not kick the ball to Tate Jenkins on a kickoff. He's not the punt returner, but don't kick it out of bounds even.
Just give him the yardage.
Just don't kick him the ball on a kickoff because he will house it. Do not do that. Like, this very dangerous man on a kickoff.
Mike Sautter, special teams coordinator.
Like,
don't kick it to Tate. Don't kick it to this guy.
Yeah. You can do the pooch thing. Like, people have done that. I've seen that. Like, just don't kick it to 6. Like, just avoid him at all costs.
It seems pretty simple.
That's good advice.
Yeah. Do not do that. Carney's going to have to, I think, just run the ball and limit possessions and play sound, just solid defense and tackle. Like, you got to – Tate Jenkins is really tough to tackle, and he's low to the ground, has terrific balance, and you got to get him on the ground. So you got to rally to the ball and do all those, things that you need to do. So they're gonna have to just limit possessions. I think make it a boring game. That's Kearney's way to get it done.
Speaking of limiting possessions, I imagine that would be the most concise path to victory for Elkhorn South if they're trying to.
That's where I thought you were going when you said speaking of running the ball.
If you're going to repeat the upset from a couple years ago that kept Millard South out of the final back 2 years ago, is that? I mean, I assume that's the path to victory for Elkhorn South as well.
Yeah, Jaden Succo is going to have a huge night.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's at over 1,400 yards, 1,445, I believe, off the top of my head, as far as yards. This year, and their passing game team total is like 1,100. But you don't see that in Class A anymore very often, where your one running back has more, but he's the dude. So he's the guy. Hey, back to that math.
Ooh, more math.
Ooh, I like math.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't either, actually.
So let's we can not worry about this anymore.
Get rid of those other numbers.
Yeah. So 20.94 tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Millard South's defense is averaging a game.
No.
That's a lot.
No.
Yes.
Your math wrong.
That's a lot.
I did the math this morning. I went through every game.
21 tackles for loss a game?
Yes.
So they're at like 220 tackles for loss on the season?
Yeah, it's a significant number.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
There was one game where they had like 48.
That's ridiculous.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So you're going to have to just be really comfortable trying to get 3.5 yards a carry. Like, just be really, really comfortable trying to get 3.5 yards a carry.
That's a lot of broken tackles.
They're at 188.5 tackles for loss this year.
That's got to be some kind of record, right?
It's up there. It's a lot.
Like against Millard West, they had 28 tackles for loss. Against was it Lincoln Southeast? They had 27.5. Against Westview last week, they had 27. So
that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a pretty good football team, right?
Their defense. Listen, like Millard South's defense. I talked about all year. It's phenomenal. Like the Jaden Succo and Tegan Urban, like clashes,
mm-hmm.
it should be good today.
We're getting fired.
Yeah, should be pretty good.
Last Class A game, Lincoln East and Prep. What are you thinking about there? I'm a little fascinated by this one.
Super intrigued by that.
Yeah, that's a fascinating matchup.
Very intrigued by that. It's that one again. I think could be has a chance to be kind of low scoring, like 24-17, 14, something like that. Either way, maybe. Prep's defense has been great, and they got Vinny Saul back. He missed the Westside game, a couple games, and I think he's back now. So just got an Air Force offer actually the other day.
Hey.
And he's a long corner, and the East can throw it around a little bit. They're really multiple on offense. They're little kind of do everything, if you will. Like they're pistol, they're shotgun, they just spread it around a little bit. And Prep's line, I think, clearly, has an advantage in this game, but East is holding the water, right? East is holding the water for Lincoln, all those schools right now. So if they want to get a team in the semis, it's going to have to be Lincoln East. But Angelo Walker's great, so he's great. I mean, he's been really good, and I think both ways, a two-way guy that for Prep, and I do think Prep obviously Prep's the favorite in that game, but I do think it could be a pretty tight kind of situation, if you will.
Mike, let's switch gears here to Nebraska basketball. They're underway, got their season underway. Obviously, not a huge sample size yet. Just want to, any early takeaways, any thoughts early in the season so far?
Yeah. Okay. After one game, it's just one game, but this is a massive improvement.
Okay. I'm ready.
A massive improvement, and I'm excited about this improvement if it holds. Nebraska is 23rd in the country on the offensive side in non-steal turnover rate. That is only 2.8. So 2.8 is their non-steal turnover rate. And
so they only turn it over on 2.8 of their possessions if it's not stolen.
Correct.
Oh, that's not bad.
So last year, if you remember, that was the one thing I harped on all year because it drove me crazy.
It's being sloppy with the ball, right?
Falling out of bounds after a rebound or throwing it to the first row or whatever.
Yeah.
So they were like 320th in the country last year. It was like 6.2 or something, right? Was last year, was their non-steal turnover rate. So if they can keep that up and take care of the ball and just, not have the just boneheaded plays and mistakes, I think that's pretty good. Like I feel good about that. In my opinion, it's going to be good. Now FIU is pretty athletic team.
Which Nebraska struggled with some of those in the past.
Correct. Yeah. And their guards can get going a little bit and pretty quick. They have some size and shot blocking. Now FIU is also Conference USA opponent that is projected to be about 500 this year, even in the league. So it's one of those where you just got to take care of business and knock down shots, right? So Braden Frager obviously did what he did. I think we all have heard or seen or talked about that.
Who?
Who? What?
Braden Frager.
Oh, yeah. So he had one of the top 5 best performances for a freshman in their debut in Nebraska basketball history. So we'll see if he can keep that up or if they can keep the shooting up. I mean, the 3 kind of wing guys and Esesian and Price Sanford, they're not gonna all miss shots in a game. So that's something. And I will tell you, it was really nice to see Jamarcus Lawrence have a good game. So he's a vital. I think Jamarcus Lawrence is vital to this team's success this year. I think he's going to be extremely important to be just consistently kind of good, right? Like he doesn't have to score 20, but he needs to play good on the defensive end and just be pretty decently efficient to shooting the ball.
Okay, so I'm going to take Rink Mast off the table. I'm going to take Jamarcus Lawrence off the table. Who left is the most important player for Nebraska to be successful?
Berke Butenjo.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That was not amongst the list of names I was thinking of.
Yeah, because he needs to be he needs to take care of the ball. He needs to play solid post defense because there's times where he might even be like the 5.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to bring the ball up and make good decisions. And he needs to be a good offensive rebounder too. So he needs to be solid. Trust me, they're paying him to be good. It is what it is. It's what we're doing now. So
add that.
Yeah, I mean I think he's probably the most important piece. Outside of that, because your guards, obviously Sam Hoiberg, Cale Jacobson, you have all the guards are important too, and I think Price Sanford's ability to open up the floor from his shooting ability is important as well. But I do think Berke is probably the linchpin, if you will, to having a pretty successful season. And a successful season for Nebraska is, anywhere in that 8-12 conference play mark. So right around 500. And then
you want to be on the bubble for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I think and a way to do that is the formula is the same it's been the last 2 years. So you have 4 non-conference games that are very important. You can't lose the other ones. But these 4 is Oklahoma, in Sioux Falls, so big game, right? And then you have New Mexico, which is kind of new coach, a little bit of a rebuild, so you can't really lose that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have either New Mexico, or sorry, I said New Mexico, and then K-State or Mississippi State in Kansas City. So go 1-1 there at least, and then Creighton. So if you can go 2-2 of those 4, I think you're all right. So I think that would be, I think you'd be pretty all right if you can go 2-2. If you can go better than that of those 4 games and not lose, a bye game, then you're really good. So take care of home court. The formula is the same that it's been the last couple of years. So to be a bubbly team right now, and after 1 game, they're I think 50th or right about 50th in KenPom, which is you're on the bubble, right? That's a bubble team.
So basically 9 non-conference wins and try and get at least 9 conference wins. That puts you at 18-ish, and then you're in the neighborhood going in the conference tournament.
Yeah, I think even if you're 8 conference wins, I think you're all right. It depends on who it is, right?
Yeah.
If it's, we'll see. I guess I watched Washington last night. Denver gave Washington all they could handle at Washington. I watched it a little bit when I got home last night. So, don't be them, right? Or it'll be interesting to see who the bottom of the league will be this year, because I think Minnesota's going to be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
With Nico Medved, he's great. Great coach. Obviously, you have Purdue up there. Purdue comes to Lincoln, though, and we know what happened last time. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. I still have the box score of that, by the way.
I think that was 2 years ago. The
2 years ago.
Number 1.
They traveled here.
It was 2 years.
Oh, yeah, I do. See? This is the box score from that night.
That forever.
With my notes.
Ooh.
So, and it's a little brown right now. And then I still have the Wisconsin one, too. Remember when they court stormed Wisconsin that year? So
there we go.
Need more court storming.
That is our guy.
Court storming. Yeah, let's not court storm for
West Georgia.
Stuff like that. Let's kind of save it a little bit, right?
Do they have any court storm games?
Save it for the Purdues of the world.
They have a
I
think Purdue might be the only court storm game potentially.
Court stormable game.
Michigan State January 2nd. I don't know how good they are.
Yeah, but they're not going to be like top. I think the only way you can court storm is
like top 10.
Yeah, top 10, and you're not in the top 25. Right?
That's fair. That's fair. I would say
it feels weird to court storm a number 25.
Right. Yeah.
I would say if you're like number 24, 25, and you beat number 1, I think you can court storm.
That's.
I think if you beat number 1, you can always court storm.
If it's a top 5 team, as long as you're also not in the top 5, I think it's okay.
You're definitely But if you're like, okay, if it's top 5 team and you're like 8th, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's just like it's an upset, but it's like great job.
Right. Like, yeah.
I think you can always storm if you beat number 1. I think that's my rule.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, 100%. And you can always storm if you're, SMU beating Miami.
Yeah. I'm okay with
that. Like that's fair. That one is, I'm okay. I'm comfortable with that. How do you feel about Creighton, Ravi?
As a team in general?
Will they ever court storm?
No.
I feel pretty good. I think it's going to take them a little while to get the chemistry down. I think that was pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be more important, the defensive chemistry. They're going to have to play much more cohesive team defense they have in the years past without Kalkbrenner to clean everything up.
South Dakota is just hectic, though.
Yeah, they are.
How they play. Like I was just watching it from home, and South Dakota, they just play hectic like that. That's their style.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit hard to there isn't a lot of half court offense being played in South Dakota. They just want to go.
Yeah, even with the exhibitions, though, like I think there's like just a continuity on defense that is going to take a little bit to get going since you haven't had Freeman for a lot of the fall. Jason Green's was banged up, obviously, on Wednesday. So I think getting used to the rotations, both offensively and defensively, is going to be key. But, I mean, offensively, I thought they didn't even play that well offensively. They still scored 92 points. So, like, that's I don't think the offense is going to be a problem, really, at any point. Just getting I do think the ceiling on the offense, if they do find some chemistry, is really, really high.
Like, they could average, like, 90-some points a game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, like, even, like, throughout the season. Like, that. I've joked with some people, like, there's going to be a lot of 90-89s this year if they don't figure out the defense. If they do, like, I do think there is a part of it where it's just I don't know how many other offenses can keep up, even if their defense isn't great.
And Josh Dix hasn't like got going yet, so
and he will. I mean,
yeah, no, quite. That's what I mean.
You know, yeah, like he's the most proven commodity, I think, there, right? So,
right.
He definitely will get going. I do think maybe I'm giving him too much credit here. I don't think I am, though, from what I know about him. I don't know him personally. I do think maybe he's laying out a little bit so other guys can figure things out because he knows he'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you're right on the defensive. It's just everything just funneled to Kalk because you knew you had that there.
Yeah.
So now you don't have that. So like and the
you have
depth
to play really cohesive team defense now.
Yeah. Nebraska's going to have to do the same, to be honest, because they don't have like a defensive stopper, right? Like that's probably Hoiberg, but at times, right? Like sometimes, size.
But he's got some physical limitations.
Right. Right. Yeah. So it'll be it also is interesting with Creighton because like they have all this depth and famously Mac has played like 6-7 guys so in the last handful of years, and that's it when it comes down to the end of the year. So how do you manage that is something. So
yeah, I think that'll be super interesting. I will say the one thing I think for Creighton's defense that I think could give them a little bit of an advantage is they're actually not undersized for once, especially in the backcourt. Like they've got some size in the backcourt that, like, there's nobody you can, like, there's no 5'11" point guard you can just pick on, right? Like Austin Schwartz is a big guy. Nick Graves is 6'2", 6'3". He's a reasonably sized point guard. Josh Dix is a big guy. Blake Harper's huge. Fade, like whoever you put out there on the perimeter is a pretty good size. At least they've got some length there. So I do think that helps. It'll be a little bit harder to just pick on guys.
I know we got to go, but I want to hit on state volleyball here for 1 second.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It stinks that the semifinal volleyball is the same night as football quarterfinals, but I don't know a way they can do any other way than like schedule what it is. So you do have a bunch of like double situations today. I think there's like 7 or 8. So like Westside Volleyball plays tonight at 5. They also have a football game at 7. Millard South plays tonight. Papio South plays tonight. Millard South, Papio South is the one of the semifinals in Class A volleyball, and North Star is the other. So like North Star is going to have full throat student section, and Westside's going to have parents. Yeah. So
we'll call it less than that. Yeah.
Yeah, and same thing. Like Norris and Waverly play each other, and they've played obviously, but Waverly has a football game. Norris does not. Elkhorn North and Scott, it's going to be like parents watching. Yeah. So they're in the semis there too. So yeah, state volleyball finals are tomorrow, and yeah, be interesting. UTAN has a game at 1. How about UTAN, the Chieftains? They beat the number 1 seed, Johnson County Central, yesterday or last night in C2 volleyball, and they advanced to the semifinals. So they play Freeman at 1 p.m. today at PBA in a state semifinal volleyball game. Then they play, their football team plays Bishop Newman in Wahoo at 7 p.m. So that's a day for UTAN people. So yeah,
shout out UTAN. There
you
we
can
go.
hit both of them.
Yeah, definitely can hit both of them. That
is a day.
Where are you going in the middle? Like, what do you do? Like, you tailgate somewhere?
You just hang out in Lincoln, or you go back and.
I mean, for the adults, I was like, just go to a bar, get a drink.
Well, yeah, obviously, I'm talking about.
But the kids.
Oh, yeah. I don't care about the kids. All right.
Famously. That was a dumb question.
Mike, we'll talk to you later. Enjoy your weekend. I know you'll stay busy, but we appreciate all the coverage.
All right, Mike.
That is Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports, NebPreps. Take a quick break, then we will get to. It's time for Bet On It.
Bet on it.
Brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook. We'll see how Rico does.
I'm gonna do great.
You gonna do great? You gonna do better than Kenny last week?
Yep.
All
I don't know how Kenny did.
We'll find out.
But I'm gonna do great.
All right. That's Rico. I'm Ravi. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Yeah, I played a freshman quarterback at Temple my first year. I played a freshman quarterback at Baylor. I played a freshman quarterback here last year. I just think part of it is as a coaching staff, doing the things that they're most comfortable with. Maybe not the best play for this coverage, but the best play for that person. I think TJ's unbelievably adept in this offense. Thankfully, he was here this spring. He has a really good feel for it. We've given him reps all year long. He's played in a couple games. You can go out there and say, hey, don't turn the ball over, don't do this, don't do that, and then he'll play a game of don'ts. We're gonna go play. And to me, this is an amazing opportunity for our team to just let it rip and go play. And so I'm excited for him.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centris Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, they're going to be big most of the game at the 4-5 and very athletic. And that's one thing that they put a lot of stress on your defense. They've got forceful rim rollers, and they are all over the glass, and they're going every time. and their 3-man is his ability to play in ISO type situations with his size at 6'6". He actually played with Oogie at Bakersfield, and he can really score the basketball. And again, another guy that's athletic. And then their guards, they're 1 and 2 are jet quick, and they're really good in transition, and they can get hot from 3. And those bigs they're good in the pocket. They block shots very similar to 22 in the first game, but they got 4 of those guys, not only 1. And if we go in there and try to challenge them at the rim, it's going to lead to transition baskets on the other end. So again, a lot of learning lessons from that first game that will definitely carry over into this next one. But just out of the gate, we need to play a lot smarter. I thought we got rushed a little bit. This team will try to speed us up with different presses that they're going to run, and it's imperative that we handle that the right way.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That is Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. It's time for Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets, whether it's at the casino in Lincoln or in Omaha. They've got you covered. You can also download the app, build your bets in the app, and then go place them in person at the sportsbook. Keep your money on this side of the river. Nobody wants Iowa to get any more money. Don't do that. Stay here. Stay at Warhorse. Go to Warhorse Sportsbook. I don't know what you're doing. Bet on it. Bet on it. Yeah, it's time for Bet on it. That was weird. I don't know what's happening here. Rico.
You just kept talking.
Well, you just kept going like this, and I was like,
you're just gonna.
It's Bet on it. It looked like you wanted. You're like, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep talking. I was like, all right, I guess I will keep talking. Let's get to some games this weekend, Rico. Couple ones that I find interesting. DB and I talked about this one a little bit with Brian Edwards yesterday. Georgia at Mississippi State. This number is 9.5. It feels like it should be way higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make you nervous? What are we doing here?
Mississippi State has had a decent season, better than anybody really thought they were going to have.
Shout out
and
Jeff
I
Levy.
understand that Georgia has to go on the road to Starkville, but I don't think Starkville is going to get to Georgia. I don't know why this number is so low. It should be much higher. Dogs. By a lot.
So I'm gonna be DB here.
They know something.
It's low for a reason. We're taking the dogs.
Dogs.
Both literally and figuratively. The Bulldogs and the underdogs. I'm taking Mississippi State. Give me the plus 9.5. Best game of the weekend.
The Citadel and Ole Miss.
You nailed it. One of the strangest lines of the weekend as well. BYU is a 10.5-point dog. Undefeated BYU, ranked number 7 in the country, is a 10.5-point dog going to Lubbock for Texas Tech. How you feeling?
I don't know, because BYU has
that feels disrespectful.
Done
honestly.
really well.
That feels disrespectful.
Texas Tech, is Baron Morton healthy? Are we?
I think he's supposed to try and I don't think I'm conflating things in my head. I think he's supposed to try and give it a go, but I'm not positive.
I understand that Lubbock is
and the backup's playing pretty well.
Yeah,
so
I understand that Lubbock now. Well, their backup is out. He tore his ACL.
Oh, that's right.
So they're on third string if Barron can't go.
Okay, but they're still 10.5-point favorites. They must be really counting that Barron's going to go.
Yeah, so I understand that Lubbock is now surprisingly a tough place to play with their now they can't toss tortillas.
So he went against Kansas State. So
yeah.
So
he
I would
should
imagine he's back.
I don't know, man. That seems really high. BYU's played some really good ball lately. I think I'm going to go with the underdogs. I'm going to go with BYU to cover. I think Texas Tech, as long as Barron plays, I think they win. But I don't think he's fully healthy. So give me BYU to cover in Lubbock, just because it's a weird line. I don't think it should be that high.
I don't either. This feels like 4.5 maybe feels right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go against what I just did with Mississippi State here.
They know something.
I think BYU is good. I like BYU. I'm a big Kalani Sitake guy. I also think they can control the pace of this game with their running game, with their running quarterback. You got to love a quarterback that wears 47.
You don't. I actually hate it. I despise
Wasn't
it.
there a Miami quarterback that like in the 80s?
I don't know.
I would say you're young. It doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. I can't. Yes, I hate it so much. I cannot stand seeing a 47 under. I can't stand seeing a number that isn't under 20 under center. It bothers me so much.
So I think there was a quarterback that wore in the 20s at Miami. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
BYU's only scored under 30 points twice this season. For whatever reason, it was Colorado, and then I understand Utah.
Give me BYU. I'm taking BYU. I think they went outright. I'm taking BYU on the money line. Okay. But I'll take the points too as well. Another good game, ranked Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M is a 6.5 point favorite going to Colombia. Different Colombia. There's a U in that, or there's a U in this one. There's not in the other one.
Colombia.
Double O.
Texas A&M. Marcel Reed is playing fantastic. Texas A&M's kind of playing out of their mind with Mike Elko, which who saw this coming? Not me, that's for sure.
Marcel Reed's been better than I thought he was going to be, for sure.
Nobody saw 100%. This coming, or else he would have been taken in our quarterback draft. Missouri and Bo Pribula.
Who was taken in our quarterback draft?
Was he?
I believe so.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't?
Marcel Reed was not.
No, Pribula.
No, he wasn't either.
Oh, okay.
Neither one of them was.
I thought Kyle took him and got injured.
Nope.
That must be everybody else that Kyle has.
Yeah, everybody else is hurt. No. Texas A&M. They're really good. The number 3 team in the country. They're really good. I don't think Missouri has it anymore. They had it early. I think they're kind of falling apart. Give me the Aggies.
I'm taking the Aggies as well.
Or big number.
Oregon at Iowa. This one
I don't like it.
Feels dangerous.
I don't like it.
Oregon just a 6.5 point favorite. It's at Iowa City, so they're crossing time zones for the Ducks. And
not a night game.
Not a night game.
But it's close.
But Oregon has been hit or miss offensively this year. They've struggled at times. They've also, Iowa, been better offensively than they have been in years past. I think I'm taking Iowa here.
You're disgusting.
I don't feel good about it.
You're disgusting.
But I think I'm taking Iowa here.
No.
No?
No. This is going to be a tough game for Oregon, but I think at the end of the game they realize who they are and who they're playing, and they end up running away with it.
They are who they thought they were?
They are who they thought they were. I don't think that Iowa has the firepower to stick with it. Oregon has to score twice, and they will win the game. I understand it's Kinnick, but it's not Kinnick at night. Kinnick at night is scary. If they had to play this, if Oregon had to go to Iowa and it was a 6 o'clock, 6:30 kickoff, I'm taking Iowa every time.
So what you're saying is when Iowa has these upsets at Kinnick, they've been making them at night.
Yeah. 100%. Iowa makes them at night.
That makes sense, actually. You're saying a lot of things that make sense here.
What?
I am still taking Iowa.
No.
Because I think you're underestimating. Iowa's offense is a little better this year. I think Oregon's going to have to score more than twice. And I don't know how much they're going to score. Their offense has been, they only scored 21 points against a trash-ass Wisconsin team.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
It's bad. You're right.
I think I'm taking Iowa here.
Okay.
I'm not money line. I'm not taking money line, but the 6.5.
Iowa's wearing black, by the way.
Don't they always wear black?
No, they're going black out.
Oh, they're going black on black?
Yeah. Black on black on black.
I'm taking Iowa there. Last one before we get to Nebraska. LSU and Alabama. 9.5 point favorites. The Tide are in Tuscaloosa.
LSU and Alabama always play strangely really fun games. I don't think that happens this time.
Well,
I think Alabama's going to run away with it.
You're not taking the dead cat bounce on LSU?
I am not taking the dead. I mean, so they are blessed to no longer have Brian Kelly.
So that's the thing is like
that's the hard part is they fired him and everybody seems so much happier.
Yeah, everybody seems cool with it. They're like, yeah, that's fine.
But I just don't. I think he was holding them back. I don't think that it's going to matter that they fired. They'll take a step forward, but not in this game.
I think they cover.
The 9.5?
I think Alabama wins, but I think LSU covers. I think this is closer than a 10-point game.
I got Bama by 2 scores.
I'm taking LSU on the plus 9.5 there.
Give me
All
a
right,
14-point win.
last one here. Nebraska, the Cornhuskers. This one has come down.
Has it?
A little bit. Opened at 2.5. UCLA is now at 1.5. The money line's been having some strange movement on this one as well. So last night and even up to this morning, Nebraska actually was favored on the money line despite being a dog on the spread. They were minus 115 to win this game, and UCLA was just minus 105. I've got it at minus 110 each now. So this is basically a pick 'em.
I have minus 110, minus 120 for UCLA.
Yeah, so I've got it at minus 110 each from ESPN. So this has been the money line movement on this one has been strange, and it hasn't really gone in accordance with the spread. That being said, we talked about this with Tim. I think it's disrespectful that Nebraska's a dog here. I still think they're better than UCLA, even with a backup quarterback. And John Butler seemed weirdly confident about dealing with Nico.
He seemed more confident in dealing with Nico than he has
almost at any point this year.
Which I don't know what that
means.
Like,
it seems like he knows something. I don't know if, Eckler gave him the book on
Eckler
Nico.
knows Nico.
You would think.
He was there in Tennessee with him.
I've got Nebraska. Give me the 1.5. Give me the money line. Give me all of it. Actually, I'm going to take the 1.5 because I don't really get a lot of juice on the money line since they're still minus money there. Yeah. So give me Nebraska on the plus 1.5. I think they win outright. Wrap it up.
This game is going to be disgustingly close for about 3 quarters.
Okay.
It's going to make everyone extremely uncomfortable for a while.
Yeah.
But I do think Nebraska ends up pulling out the W by a decent amount.
W?
They're going to be eating W's.
Eating W's? Eating W's?
Eating W's with TJ Latif at quarterback.
And
it's very fitting because it's on the West Coast.
Boom. And some not smart I got to be careful how I say this. Not really. I don't care. Some not smart fans are going to say, well, quarterback competition? And it's going to be dumb.
That is Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bet. Keep that money right here in the Cornhusker State. Iowa has bad corn and bad beef.
And they're going to lose to Oregon.
Is the place to go. Make sure you go to Warhorse to place your bets. We'll be right back to wrap up the show here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, I think that the biggest things we took away from that first ball game, first of all, how incredibly fun playing with all those screaming middle school kids. They were very passionate and they gave us a lot of fuel for our fire out there. But our biggest takeaways were when we play with good pace on offense, that we were pretty hard to guard. And I thought that we had some really good possessions in transition where we shared the basketball and moved it well and played with pace. I thought Britt Prince was very aggressive to start that ball game, scored 8 of our first 12, was kind of hunting her shot. Our team is best when we see that out of Britt. And then, we just had lots of contributions just defensively. I thought Haley really set the tone for us with backcourt pressure, and lots of other players benefited with steals because of the havoc that she was causing on the ball.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Wanted to get to something as we ended the show today, a little bit more serious. I'm sure a lot of you know yesterday that Marshawn Nealon from the Dallas Cowboys was committed suicide, and it was all found out yesterday. I believe it happened on Wednesday. But Coach Rule addressed it in his press conference and kind of brought up a larger point of not really knowing what people are going through. I wanted to play that clip in its entirety for you, and then I had something that I wanted to say about that as well. So Shane, go ahead and get that one ready.
I want people to watch this game and say that's a team that cares about each other. I mean, I as I said the other day, either you're in or you're out, right? And so I want you to see a team that goes on the road, no matter what time we leave, enjoys being together, enjoys sitting in their hotel rooms, enjoys going to a walkthrough, enjoys going to battle against another excellent team, knows that it's going to be. I mean, think about the character of the UCLA team, right? They're 0-3. They fire their coach, who was a player there, a great player there, who they all loved, who I coached and I respect. And they've just come together and hung in there together, right? And so I want to see a team that cares about each other. So I look at it like, hey, the late kick gives you more time together. So I think that's been my message, and especially poignant seeing the tragic news out of Dallas today, and seeing. Understanding that none of us know what people are going through. That's why I think we all should be careful about what we say to people. I think we should be careful what we tweet about people. I think we should be cognizant of what everyone's going through. And I told our players they should take their headphones off in the cafeteria and sit down with someone and be like, "How you doing, man? What's going on with you?" Because somebody that we're talking to, that we're saying, "What's wrong with that guy? And that guy's messed up." Instead of saying what's wrong with him, we should all say, "I wonder what would happen to him," because everyone's suffering. And so I look at these opportunities, everyone's kind of, everyone's, going through something. We're going to go on the road together, man. It's just a chance for us all to come together and be a team and unite together and spend time together. And, I think it's a good opportunity for us, but I have to, I send my condolences, obviously. It's just awful news. But you also know at the same time, I've given the eulogy for players of mine who've had the same thing happen. And so it's just, you never know what people are going through. And I will forever the rest of my life think about the time that I saw Adrian Robinson right before he took his own life. And I saw him on campus, and I was walking this way and he was way over there. And I was like, I need to catch up with Adrian because he had got done playing. And a week later, he left this world. And a month later, I was given the eulogy. And I just wish in my life I could go back and just stop and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And so it's not really what you asked, but it's on my heart. And I just share it with the team. Like, I just think it's a time in this world for us to be kind to people and at the same time care about people and ask about people. Our generation of kids, my kids, they all just say, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm straight," and it's just like, you really got to unearth it. So I look at road trips and travel, and I look at time together practice as chances to impact young people's lives and try to be around them. And I would encourage everybody to. I would encourage everybody today with your own kids or the people you work with, just check on them, because that young man scored a touchdown just a couple days ago, and on the outside world you'd think he's at the pinnacle, but he's dealing with something, and I don't know what it was, but I pray for him and his family. So, that's the weight of coaching young people today, and they're going through a lot, way more than I went through growing up. So, just a sad story, but sad fate. And again, I pray for him. But I also know there's probably someone on my team going through something very similar. And so, in what ways can I be there for them? Can we all be there for them? I think that's the blessing we have of having another week together. So I'm grateful for it. I've challenged our guys all week to be great teammates, to rally together, to come together, and not just for TJ, but for every single guy on this team. And for the guys even that aren't on the trip, that are home, just be there for everybody. So that's what we're trying to build. And it's maybe old school and kind of it's not in vogue anymore. Everything's about the transfer portal and rev share. But I still think young people probably need people that care about them. So that's never more evident today. So thank you guys. I hope you guys are all well as well.
That particular kind of speech there from Coach Rule hit me on a couple different levels, because when I was coaching basketball, I had a player several years after I had coached him that ended up taking his own life. And a player I was very fond of, tried to bring him to college where I ended up after I left high school. And, you could beat yourself. Kind of like Coach Rule was this player at Temple, you can kind of yourself up about, if I had gotten him to come play for me, like gone different. That's a really hard road to go down. I don't really answer for that, but it is an incredible, I guess, opportunity, and some would say, to understand everybody that you're running in contact with through something we have no idea about. Other example that happened to me last Saturday down at the tailgate for Omaha Steaks with Team Jack Foundation and our friends, at Omaha Steaks and our Hurrdat Sports team. And it was actually a friend of our boss, Chris Gorman. I believe they went to high school together out at North Platte, this guy named Josh. And I had no idea about this until later. I saw a TikTok video that he made about this. But Josh has been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And he's basically met Josh and his son, and he's basically trying to curate these like core memory great experiences for his kids so that when he's gone, they have something incredible just to hold on to and remember these things of their time with their dad. And I had no idea about any of this while this is happening. And I, one of the things I admire about like Kenny Bell was there. This happens to Damon a lot, obviously, is they do an incredible job of whenever somebody meets them, they understand that that's probably a pretty big moment for that person, right? So when Josh and his kid met Kenny last weekend, Kenny took some time, talked to him, took pictures with him, signed autographs for him, was great. You know how Kenny is. Was absolutely great with these people. And I don't think Kenny knew at the time what was going on in Josh's life either. And later, Josh and his son and one of their friends sat with me and a couple other people at Beer House watching the Nebraska game as we were preparing for postgame. And this whole time, I have no idea what's going on with him. And found out later through the TikTok video that his kid said that was the best day of my life. Just a tailgate, watching a football game, getting to meet Kenny Bell and hanging out with his dad. And that's a very different situation than the Marshawn Nealon thing or what Coach Rule was talking about. But I do think it's a good reminder that we don't know what's going on in people's lives, right? This might not be a mental health thing for Josh and his son and whoever else. It might be a mental health thing for other people, but we don't know what's going on in somebody's life. And Kenny, just by being Kenny, helped that kid have this incredible day with his dad that he'll remember for the rest of his life, regardless of how this turns out. And obviously we hope and pray that the things, that Josh defies expectations and beats the odds and the prognosis. But whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whether it's just being a little bit kinder to one another. Listen, I know we get snarky and sarcastic and we make jokes, and I like all that, obviously. Maybe that's why I was a little quick on the ban button today in the chat. Like, you don't know what people are going through. And if you can just extend a little bit extra grace, I think it can go a long way. And I hope we do that. I hope that people who have gone through things that are still going through things, I think of our friend Matt DeMarinis with White and Blue Review, going through things right now that, people may or may not know about. Coach Mack talked about it on Wednesday. Just try and extend a little bit more grace to people. Have some fun in chats and on podcasts like this. But when you go out in the real world, in your real life, just try and remember that if you've ever had a bad day and you wished people would have been just a little bit easier on you, somebody that you've run into today probably going through the same thing. So that's all I've got for the show today. Appreciate you indulging my little tangent there at the end. But I do think it's important to remind people sometimes, and I'm glad Coach Rule took that opportunity as well. Rico, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course.
Always enjoy it. We will is it you and me or you and Austin tomorrow on postgame?
You and me, super late.
Let's do it.
Hopefully my kids are asleep.
Listen, if they're not asleep by the time an 8 o'clock kick gets over,
it's the weekend. They do what they want.
Listen, you need to tighten things up around there, Rico.
What am I going to tell them to go to bed on the weekend?
Yes.
Fine. They'll sleep in.
Yes. Tell them to go to work go to bed.
Work? Get out of here. Start
go
working.
To work.
You're old enough.
The children, they yearn for the mines.
They do.
We'll be back with Ale Varsity postgame tomorrow. DB and I will be back on Monday. More Hurrdat Sports Live. Have a good weekend, everybody.
see you. Have a good day. Love you.